Oh my god, it's not working.
Legion of Creators.
I understood that reference.
Hello everyone, so sorry for that technical difficulty, but I'm Kenna with Chris and Joe, also known as Captain Multiverse, of course.
Yep,
We don't got a lot to talk about. I mean, we do, but we don't. Not really anything crazy big news, but we still got some things to talk about.
Yeah, we got topics. We got topics. I actually think this, and it's not surprising considering we've had this topic multiple times. I think the Star Wars stuff is probably our
Oh yeah,
biggest
we
stuff.
can talk forever about Star Wars, but we're gonna save that for the very end because again, we can talk about that for hours. Obviously,
And
we'll
we
talk
also
about the
have
Night of the Seven Kingdoms
Yep.
finale, and many more. So we'll get it right into it after this one.
Legion of Creators.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
And welcome back, guys.
Alrighty.
Welcome back. We are here for Legions of Creators, episode 51.
Woo!
So what are we starting with today, Kenna? What's our starting
Well,
point?
obviously, we do have the news. A very anticlimactic. I will say that we finally have a release date for the Wolverine game trailer, Insomniac Wolverine.
Did they give us new footage with the announcement, or was it just
Nope.
the release
Nah,
date?
it was just the announcement of the
Just
date.
the
when it's
release
coming out.
date.
Man,
which is September 15th, by the way.
I kind of hoped that Luke would be here for this topic, but I wanted to hear him go crazy on it. But I'll say my piece. I'm sure Luke has his piece on this. Look, a September release date, it's fine. We expected it would come out at some point. I personally feel Insomniac, and I said this to the guys last night, to you guys when we were doing our little just chilling in our party chat. We were playing games last night. I think they're dropping the ball on this game. I think, and here's the thing that's kind of crazy. That's dropping the ball on this game is a bad thing. I don't know if you guys know about was in the files, but if this game needs to do well, because if this game doesn't do well, Insomniac was planning jumping off this game into an X-Men game.
Ooh.
Like there's supposed to be a teaser in this game for the X-Men game, which is why you can play as other characters. So you have Wolverine, you have Mystique, but you also have Jean.
Grey.
You're supposed to play as those three characters in this game, and that was supposed to be a thing. And I'll be honest, from now, yes, it makes sense. It's a September release; they have time to put things out. But the way that after the leaks that happened, and after all the damage control that they've tried to do with everything that happened with Sony, they're not doing a good enough job. They're treating this game like they treated the DLC for Spider-Man 2, non-existent. Like it's like at least they can give us a release date, but like we should be getting swarmed. Because we just had a state of play with Sony recently. Was that like last week?
With PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah, with PlayStation and Insomniac Games. You know, that's one of their trademark studios, and they skipped out on it. And now they're like, "Oh, here's our release date for Wolverine." And
I know it kind of feels like it's like, here, damn, just take the release date. We know that you're asking. It's like they didn't really want to.
Yeah.
Again, it was very anticlimactic because there is a video, but it's, there's no new gameplay. There's not even like a cutscene to like really show us of like what the story's gonna be about yet. It's just like, I'm pretty sure like it was just like a claw scratch, and then it's like September 15th, and it's like, okay, I guess.
Marvel might need to review Insomniac's contract a little bit and be like, I don't know if we're gonna keep using you guys. This is kind of because I'm telling you, like, I haven't beaten all of Spider-Man, but and I know Chris can speak on this because I know he liked aspects of the game. They had a big launch, a big plan for that DLC for that second game. Like the potential for that game, like for DLC with all the stuff, with all the teasers for Carnage. The fact they did not put any DLC out for that second game after, if you play the first Insomniac game, which I think you did, Kenna, right? You play the first one?
I did play. I did play the first. I played the first Spider-Man game, and I played the Miles, but I did not play Spider-Man 2.
So in the first Spider-Man game, there was so much downloadable content. There was so much DLCs. You had the Black Cat side story. You had Screwball. You had they had Taskmaster in there. They had all these things. And then the second game, nothing, nowhere. And they were teasing Carnage. Hold up. There's only one game this month. Is he just talking about hyping up Resident Evil 9? Is that what this
Resident
is?
Evil 9 is coming out.
Yeah.
I know that will be a big thing. We'll get to that though. Just one second.
We'll get to Resident Evil 9. Yeah, but so it's just sad because it's like, okay, look, I want this Wolverine game bad more than anyone, but I'm kind of starting to feel like, even though we know very little about in terms of new Marvel games, I'm more pulling for this Rise of Hydra game right now because at least we have a story outline for it and the concept sounds interesting. So we know it's a World War II game with Panther and Captain America. So that at least is something. All we know about this Wolverine game is it's made by Insomniac, and it's going to be M, and Wolverine's going to be shredding through hundreds of enemies. At this point, just remaster X-Men Origins Wolverine the game and put it on PS5. Because at least that would be reliable. We know that has a good story.
Yeah,
we know it's
a
fun game.
It's interesting because I feel like with this, okay, cool, we know the release date, that's fine. And I'm still looking forward to the game, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's I expected some gameplay with this trailer, with this release date. Because it's just okay, yeah.
Something
it's just,
to add more to the hype. Right?
Yeah, it's done for the sake of it. And then obviously now it's because obviously there's rumors, it's been confirmed that they're working on a Venom game. So it's if this game isn't good, if the Wolverine game isn't good, then we got the Venom game that's coming out because the Venom game apparently is supposed to be as long as the Miles Morales game, which I'm fine with because obviously Venom is you don't need a lot of time. With Venom, his story is pretty simple, so you can easily do that.
What I don't understand is I know they said they were teasing this Wolverine game for a long time, but what I don't understand is the Venom game is probably gonna be the Miles Morales game, which is glorified DLC of just playing Venom, right? So
yeah, pretty much.
If that's what they're doing, just drop the freaking Venom game and give them more time to. Wolverine is such an iconic character, and I know this is crazy praise. I know Spider-Man is a super high god tier character in the gods of Marvel. I'm sure the gods of Marvel are gonna spite me, but I think these day and age, especially with where Marvel is at right now, Spider-Man is a popular character and he's got a lot of combat adaptations. He's got a lot of movies. He's got a lot of everything, right? I think if you mess up Wolverine, you're in worse trouble than if you mess up Spider-Man. And I'm not saying that because Spider-Man isn't still a god tier character and people won't buy Spider-Man, right? But a bad Spider-Man movie will come out and people still go see anything with Spider-Man's name on it,
Yeah.
You fuck up Wolverine and everyone's going to be pissed because it's because Wolverine is an iconic character before Hugh Jackman even took on the claws. He was already an icon, and now he's even more still an icon. And so I just think you mess up this game. If this game is bad with all the hype that used to be behind it when it was an idea, you're making a big mistake because not only are you cutting off the X-Men world, you're ruining an amazing opportunity for Insomniac to flex their muscles and go, okay, look, we can make a game that's not connected to Spider-Man. We're not playing with teenagers and college students here. We're playing with a former war veteran that has survived every single war, that was trained by a samurai, and has a healing factor, unbreakable skin, and will skew you alive. It's that.
I think the
potential
issue
immense.
that I feel like I'm sensing personally from Insomniac making Wolverine is that obviously they're still working on it, right? So maybe they just didn't
Yes.
have anything ready to show, right? Which is fair. But also I can also see this side where it's Insomniac already knows people are gonna buy this game because it's hey, we made the Spider-Man games and those were a success. We don't always need to put out constant Wolverine promo. Because they
I guess
I feel
that's
like they've
fair.
gotten too comfortable a little bit,
That's probably true because they have the success. As much as we like to dog on Miles Morales the game, it did
Well,
still
I liked
sell
Miles
well.
the game, honestly. I liked it. To be honest, I know that a lot of people call it the glorified DLC because yes, the story is pretty short, but I enjoyed it way more than I did playing the first Spider-Man game, personally. That's just me. I
Yeah,
know
and
that
I
might
feel
be a
like
little different, but
and to a degree, I think that there's reasons for why that is possible. Like it was a good story. There were good boss fights. Miles does give a lot better, and I think one of the things why you might have enjoyed it is
I just like the
I,
game. I thought the gameplay was better. I think it was an improvement on the first Spider-Man game.
well, I think the reason the gameplay is better is because, and I don't know how much you had this. You probably didn't have this a lot as a child, but I know me and Chris did. When we were a
Mm.
kid, we loved Peter Parker to death, right?
Yeah.
But I have played, and I've counted it. I have played 9+ Spider-Man games as
Right, the
Peter
old
Parker Spider-Man. And Peter Parker Spider-Man is I'm gonna shoot webs, I'm gonna swing, and I'm gonna punch people. That's his kit. Now, when they did Insomniac Spider-Man, his kit did develop, bringing some capoeira, adding a little bit more martial arts to Spider-Man, which is cool. And they had combo finishers and all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, Peter's kit still doesn't change that much.
I
We're-
personally, I understand. I think I understand. Like, yes, Miles has more abilities, like
Yes.
his electricity and his invisibility. But for me, that's not even it. Why I think Miles's gameplay was better. It's not even the fact that like, oh, he has more to do. That's not really it for me. It's just more like the feel, like I don't know, the feeling of like the controllers and like just the basic movement, like moving around. Like yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
does bring it up a notch. Sure, his extra abilities, but I don't know. I think the Miles game was just like, okay, this is how probably Spider-Man 2 is gonna feel like once we get that game, or when
Yeah,
when we
and that
did.
obviously didn't happen either, which is kind of crazy. I mean,
Well, I
I
can't
mean-
say much on Spider-Man 2
I
because
mean,
I
from
never
what-
played that. So
I've played a good bit of it, and what I've played, I can say, I'm sure Chris can speak because I think Chris has probably beaten all of it.
Yeah.
I played enough of it to say that, like, in Spider-Man 2, you get a good feel of Peter and Miles both being different and both utilizing their abilities, sometimes even together, sometimes separately, depending on where you are at in the story. But I think, once again, my issue with Spider-Man 2 is, and I know this is more a personal choice for me, but because of where this is franchised at, I think you really should have turned Spider-Man 2 into a couch co-op or online co-op game. I think it would have served much better if you call on your homeboy over and like, hey man, you want to play Peter, you want to play Miles, let's do our thing.
Yeah.
Right?
There should have been
Like-
an option for that single player
Yeah.
play co-op and yeah. But that's what I'm saying. They had the online game that they were supposed to drop, but then that got
And
cancelled.
then they didn't,
so
and then it got leaked, and then they say, "Oh, this is canceled." So,
yeah.
but people were excited about that. Like they were making a Spider-Verse game, and people wanted to see that game. And
right, but
then
I think it got
they
leaked, didn't
canceled.
it? And then they decided to scrap it.
they got
essentially.
mad, so it was already
Yeah.
scrapped when it got leaked. That's the annoying. They
Oh,
literally
right,
labeled
okay.
it. They labeled it
see.
as a canceled game, and then they showed us what the game was going to be like.
Right. So,
Which
Chris,
is unfortunate.
I know that you made I know that you made a video about Spider-Man 2. I watched it and I thought it was very good. But going based on like your overall thoughts of the Spider-Man 2, how do you think that's gonna translate to when we eventually get the Wolverine game? Because obviously Spider-Man and Wolverine are different characters, but you know
Yep.
it's both
Yeah,
made
yeah.
by Insomniac. So how do you think
Yeah.
that's gonna translate?
So I think with what I've noticed with what I said about Spider-Man 2 was that
Mm,
I felt like I like the game. I still do. I think it's still a really great game, but I do think the writing sometimes didn't correlate to how Peter really was. You know what I mean? For example, I said like when he was fighting Scream, like I just can't imagine that Peter was very like, oh MJ, you're still in there. You need to do that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he wouldn't have been like that, but it's just more of a thing where it's like Peter would have found ways to antagonize it, like because it's just a symbiote. He knows how to do that, and that's what
Mhm.
Yep.
it needs to happen. You know what I mean? For it to come off MJ and stuff like that. So that's what it would have done. And then towards the end, it would have been like, no, I need you to be there. I need you to be there. This isn't you now. So that kind of thing. And I felt like during the fight, it just didn't really help at times. So there was that. Obviously, I think the writing, like, I think they didn't get the comic book writers that wrote the first one. So I think the comic book writers have to come back for the next game. And obviously going into Wolverine, I'm just hoping that we have good comic book writers that are writing for this story for Wolverine, because I don't have a problem with like necessarily like video game studios writing their own stuff, because sometimes it can be really good. But
Right.
these days it's become unreliable with studios, the way they write certain stories. Certain characters get killed off, and maybe certain characters are not displayed the best, and then like it just be, and then obviously everybody chooses a character that they really dislike, and it just becomes a thing where it's like, well, can we really blame the character, or can we blame the people that wrote it? So I think the comic book writers have to play a part in number 2 for sure. They have not in
I
number
agree.
3 for sure.
Especially
And excellent.
when it comes to a superhero game, you gotta have some
has to
comic
be.
books, something,
Yeah.
you know, even a little bit, right? Honestly, I mean, again, I mean, once the game is out, I think everyone's gonna look at it, try it out, see how it really is for themselves. And I honestly think for the most part, it's probably still gonna be really fun and really good.
Yeah.
But it will definitely probably realistically have some bump in the roads, like especially
Yeah,
whatever the
100,
story's
100.
going to be
Yeah.
for Wolverine.
I think we'll see. I'm assuming because they've got the date now, we're gonna see something at Summer Games Fest, I feel like.
Right.
So there's probably gonna be that. So I feel like they're gonna saving it for that time just because.
Well,
It has
hopefully
to
in the
be that.
summer they just go crazy like
I think
like
they
real-
will, because that's why we just haven't gotten a lot of things besides, of course, you know, Resident Evil 9 and a Capcom's other game, Pragmata, I think it's
Pragmata,
called. Yeah, I think they're really just saving the punches for Game Fest, because I think that's
Yeah.
really they're gonna be like,
I mean,
oh,
the fact
this and
that
this
we
and
know
this.
the fact that we know that it's now summer, that's not going to come out in September, they
Mhm.
could use Summer Game Fest to really crank out some crazy
Exactly.
information about the game, not only some new trailers, but also
Yeah.
but also maybe they reveal some stuff like, okay, what are going to be, because you know the Spider-Man games have always had pretty good boss fights, right? So like maybe they start saying, oh, okay, yeah, Sabretooth is in the game,
Mhm.
Omega Red's in the game,
I mean, we
something like
already
that.
know that there's gonna be some Sentinels from the
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
trailer that they
100%.
showed us.
Yeah.
You know who I would really love to see? Even though it's obviously we know that, you know, Jean is gonna be in there and Mystique. I would really
Yeah.
love to see like Psylocke, honestly, make an
That'd be
appearance in the
cool.
Wolverine game.
She'd be-
I mean, here's the thing. There's so many X-Men, like Storm. Like you just again, you know, I understand that this Wolverine's. I will say though, as much as it's cool that we're gonna probably have some aspects that we, some parts in the game where we'll be able to play Jean Grey and Mystique. Because it's a Wolverine game, we should be obviously playing as Wolverine the most.
Yeah.
And obviously save this setup for future X-Men characters to pop up maybe near the end, or, you know, again, like it's setting up for an X-Men game.
That's the one aspect I'm excited about this game, is that they're at least giving us the mistake that the Spider-Man games made, is when they made the choice in the first Spider-Man game and even the second game to play as other characters besides Peter Parker's Spider-Man story, right?
Mhm.
So in the first game, when they made Miles playable, Miles wasn't Spider-Man yet. So then you literally get to see, like, you're going to these weird side missions. And with MJ, you know, MJ doesn't have superpowers or a costume or anything like that. So in the first game, you really are just kind of trying to do these weird, sneaky stealth missions.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
the first game, they were the right amount, so I didn't mind them because it was fine.
Mhm.
But the second game, when they decide to like give her a taser and like start like going after different people,
Yeah,
I kind of was
yeah.
like, okay, what are we
See,
doing
that
here?
was one of the things that, you know, when it was first told that you'll be able to play as Mystique and possibly Jean Grey for this game, a lot of people are like, you know, but I will say, even though as much as long as it doesn't overtake the amount of playtime as Wolverine as you get, I don't think it's going to be a
Yeah,
problem,
that's what
especially
that's what I'm
because
saying. Yeah.
Mystique and Jean, they have actual power. So like,
Exactly.
honestly, they should be equally as fun to play as Wolverine.
I think
This should kind of be
Spider-Man, MJ.
preparing us for that X-Men game. This should be
Right,
that should be
exactly.
prepping
Yeah,
us for the
giving us
X-Men
a
game.
taste.
So
Yeah,
that's why.
and they'll also just have unique, like the levels you play as them. I think they'll have unique feels to them, because like I know they showed a little bit of Mystique in like the trailer they put out, the one trailer they made. But from what I can see, I like the idea of like when I play as Mystique, I can be using guns and knives and whatever, and I could probably almost like playing like
You
a
should be
Solid
able to
Snake.
shapeshift,
Yeah, or
honestly,
Hitman.
because that's her
Yeah,
power.
being able to shapeshift will be cool too. Like, what if the missions you're doing as her are sneaking into places and you have to disguise yourself as different people? And then when
Right.
you encounter people, when someone
Then you
gets
can
close to
attack.
kind of get close to realizing your identity, then you kind of have to like use your other skills,
Mm-hmm.
like hand-to-hand combat, knife fighting, maybe gunplay, stuff like that. And then with Jean, I hope when you're playing Jean, because I'd assume if you're playing as Jean in this game, it's got to be probably a Jean that, like, it doesn't have to be, but I wonder if is it Jean Grey with the Phoenix Force, or is it Jean Grey just with the psychological powers, right?
I'm thinking, honestly, I think because this is like they're setting up the story. I think
Yeah, it's so
unless
psychological.
they
Yeah.
do a time skip of
Yeah.
some
Mm.
kind, I think it's gonna be a more psyche
Yeah.
Jean Grey rather than fire
if
powers.
it's regular Jean, then you could have her just like going and invading people's minds and like
Mhm.
trying getting them to do different things, which could get interesting gameplay stuff. That'd be kind of cool. And then shifting back to Wolverine, I think both Mystique and Jean, they just have to feel different enough from Wolverine's just gonna be running through everyone, going berserker rage, doing crazy. So then with Mystique,
Yeah.
make it more of a stealth, very Hitman, very what's that game? Metal Gear Solid. Very, very, very much like that kind of element of like just doing that kind of close quarter stuff, showing her doing the shape shifting, really utilize the shape shifting. And then also Jean, make it more about like, hey, you have to use your mind to infiltrate this location. Like you have to
Right.
get information from this
Get
person.
in their head. Yeah.
Yep,
I do
yep.
want to
Mhm.
answer some things for RetroLad in the chat. Retro
Yeah.
says quickly, Star Wars Galactic Racing is going to be sick. I think that will be a fun game.
Yeah.
And then
definitely
Retro also says, give us a Hulk versus Wolverine in the game. That would be cool to see. I don't know how they would fit that in, but I definitely think
Yeah.
that will be at least referenced in
Yeah.
some capacity in that game.
Yeah, I
Either
think
as
with
a
this
skin,
X-Men, I feel
like
like
his
other
suit,
characters
or
will
a
be fun.
sequence. Oh, sorry, Chris.
No, I was
Yeah,
just saying. I think with other, I think with this game, with this Wolverine game, I feel like there's definitely going to be other like characters referenced, or maybe even a cameo of some sort from the other people and stuff. So it'll just be kind of interesting to see who's
It'd be
gonna
cool.
pop up. Yeah.
I don't know what the story. None of us really know what the story's going to be, but based on the trailer that we really only have as of yet, is he kind of seems to be in hiding, Wolvie. Like
Yeah.
he seems to be keeping it low, because we see him in that town. Like he's at the bar. He's got the little cowboy hat on. Like he's
Yep.
trying to keep it down low. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
something's happened. Something either happened or is about to happen. And I don't know, very, very intrigued, I will say. I definitely do think, though, as much as it's a little kind of disappointing that we don't have anything right now, or we weren't giving anything. I think this game, honestly, probably will be good, or at least decent. It will be like, as much as Luke likes to say that it's trash, and his critiques aren't. I think they're valid, right? Because again, Insomniac is can be a little messy as a company, especially when it comes to their game. So I totally understand
Yeah,
that.
I think
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Wolverine is the thing is like I think with Wolverine, if like we have to have that serious element
Mhm.
and that dark, somewhat of a dark. Yeah, you can have. Yeah, I'll say dark tone because that's the type of character he
I
is.
just
Not
really
saying he
hope
can't
we're
be
going
comedic.
to.
Yeah.
I just really hope, as a Wolverine fan, I really hope that we're going like, I like the Wolverine from what the vibe I get from the trailer. It looks like we're not going to just be stuck, since this is the X-Men and not Spider-Man stuff. We're not
Yeah.
confined to New York. So
Right.
Yeah,
So
That's-
I
yeah.
like that aspect. I really hope, and I think they kind of looked at some aspects of it in the trailer, but I really hope that we're going to Japan for a lot of this.
I was just gonna say that. I've been
like-
saying that for a while, is that I think there should be a part of the story where Wolverine travels to Japan.
Japan.
And
that's
like
how we
when,
can-
and what this
Mhm.
should be done would be really cool. Even though I know he has his claws as his main weapon, they should have done enough study on the character from the comics, because a lot of people don't know this about Wolverine's the character, but I would love to have a mission where you literally have to fight, like when you're seeing, because just like Spider-Man has his rogue gallery, right? Wolverine has a very specific, iconic rogue gallery of villains, and I think there's not as many as, like, say, a Spider-Man gallery or Batman gallery of villains, but there's a few heavy hitters like Sabretooth and others, right?
Mhm.
And one of the heaviest hitters, because of his history, is fighting Silver Samurai. And Silver Samurai is a mutant that has powers as well. Now, if you do Silver Samurai in this game, you do a level where not only is Wolverine, so I'm sure Wolverine will be fighting ninjas and doing stuff. I mean, I don't know if they'll go this crazy with the crossfire. I'd love it. I personally have been crying for this in any Marvel game. If I get in a Wolverine game, even better. I want a mission where I get to be Wolverine fighting the Hand. Like, if they let us, like, fight the Hand.
I mean,
I've
that
been
could definitely
crying
be for a Wolverine 2 game, depending
Yeah,
on
like
how the
I've been
first one
crying.
goes.
I've been crying about that for like any Marvel game. Like, I'm saying, if I get a Daredevil game, I want to see that. I've been saying, like, back when Marvel's Avengers was out, instead of fighting the aimbots and all that other stuff, I wanted to see just going up against the Hand was I want to fight ninjas, but
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
me. I think the combat against ninjas, it's just not something we're seeing as much in as
I
much as
think-
modern superhero games.
I mean, Daredevil isn't far fetched because he's teased in both the Spider-Man games.
And if they
and
do
stuff,
do a
so,
Daredevil game,
you
I
know.
will have to be like, because it's Insomniac, I want it to be really good. Because, like, as much as I love a
Yeah.
lot of things, I love Wolverine. I don't love Wolverine as much as I love Daredevil. So, like, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
Wolverine game comes out, it's awesome, cool. If Wolverine doesn't come out, it's not awesome. Well, oh well, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
It happens. I'm not going to go raging on it. But if Insomniac gets their hand on a Daredevil game, and if it's like what they did in Daredevil Born Again Season 1, where it's like, oh, it's a court game, you're going on court cases and doing all this, like, really weird, like, Law and Order type shit like they tried to do the first half of Born Again, I'm
Yeah.
going to lose my absolute mind. Like,
yeah.
if I'm making a Daredevil game, I'm going to, like, Japan, doing a Shadowland thing. I'm going in here, dealing with the Beast, fighting the Hand. Like, that's what I think you need. Like, I think you need a Daredevil fighting ninjas thing. Like, that's just got to be the thing. And with Wolverine, there's so many cool aspects. Like, he's got a lot of cool villains. I don't mind him throwing down with Sabretooth. But I think the one thing I really want is, I know Mystique and Jean, I know they want to tease the X-Men game. I really hope they don't do the thing that Iron Man 2 did, but in the video game world. I hope this isn't just a big advertisement for the X-Men. Like when I see the set.
Oh yeah, 100. Yeah.
Like when I see,
I
like,
do want it
I
to
think
be.
I just see. I really want just Wolverine. If we're doing a Wolverine game, let's relax. It could
Let's
be shit.
relax. It could be shit, guys. Right? You know,
Yeah,
again, it's
yeah.
possible, but you know, sometimes I think it's.
I
just
mean,
more...
the thing is, I don't mind Wolverine taking the L in, not because like I don't want it to be good myself. It's just
Mhm.
Right.
more of a thing. Like, this is where, like, okay, Insomniac, this is where you kind of have to wake up now, because
Right, you have to lock in.
if there was flaws in Spider-Man 2 and now going into this game, it expands even more. It's like, okay, well, you messed up here, so now if you do this X-Men game, you have to do it proper, because
I mean, that's what I
Right.
feel
we
like.
can't.
I know people
You
You
want
know,
know,
it's fun. It's
wanna
fun to
write-
discuss of like how we would want it to be. You know, obviously, it's
Yeah.
not. I don't really expect that anything that we're saying is 100% gonna happen. It's just, you know, it would
Yeah.
be fun. It would be cool.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
just
Like,
like.
I'm
I would
always
just
hopeful
like.
anyway, so
I
yeah.
want, above all else, because there aren't very many games like it, I want above all else to have a Wolverine game that is fun to play, that does the spirit of the Wolverine characters. Well, as much as we have all these great Spider-Man games, and Insomniac did so good when they first got Spider-Man handed to them, Spider-Man and Wolverine are different characters. Like, if you get him to be a Wolverine, the difference between Spider-Man and Wolverine is Spider-Man wants to be a good guy. Even though Wolverine joins the X-Men, Wolverine is a game. This is a game where, like, even if the story is shit, the gameplay is going to be awesome, because
Yeah.
you're going to be going through these big cities and just tearing through waves of enemies. Like when you really look at it, like, Spider-Man's doing all these crazy combos, and let me do this, let me web this guy up and then kick this guy and do whatever, but still turn him into the police, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be committing more murder in this game. You're going to be stabbing your claws into somebody's chest, ripping off heads, doing, like, God knows what. Like, because that's Wolverine. Like, so at the end of the day, as long as we get that as a game, like, that's where my stage, like I'm not Martin Scorsese. I don't need a amazing story in this game. If if like I would like one, but the
Yeah.
bare minimum, if I'm just Wolverine getting to fight ninjas and go here and tear up people, it's like it'd be good. That's like saying The Last of Us 2 gameplay is good and story is bad. No, what do you mean? Like you're saying because
Yeah.
I don't.
Retro also said, yeah, I don't get hyped no more because I don't want to be disappointed. I mean, I get that, but it's also like, why we can't
Okay.
always have to live in, like, I don't know. I think I would rather be hyped and disappointed than just not be somewhat excited
Yeah,
at
this is the
all
point.
because
Like I hear it. I hear it
yeah.
because the
How
thing
about
is
you
as
just
well. Like
live? Yeah,
what
like
we gotta understand. What we gotta understand as well is that like a lot of us, like for me especially, yeah, I'm hyped. I'm somewhat hyped for this game. It's like, yeah, I'm there for it. It's Wolverine cool, but I'm also like, okay, will Insomniac learn from their mistakes and just make this game
yeah,
good? Because if this game is between a 7 to a 9, that's good. That's good enough for me because they can always improve on the next story. Like
Right.
sometimes your first time isn't always the best. So
Right.
well, that's the thing.
if you
That's the
can
thing
learn
that I
from
think
that and
is
just move
yeah.
on,
That's the thing
Mm-hmm.
I've been noticing that I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if people are drinking the wrong water or what's going on. But
I think
these
you know what it
last
is like.
couple.
I'm gonna say this. I think a lot of people
Yeah,
have been disappointed too many times, and I
yeah,
get it. I've been disappointed
yeah,
too many times, but
Right.
at
yeah,
the same time, I'm still like kind of level-headed guy when it comes to things. Obviously,
yeah,
I
Right,
feel
we
bad for
just
this
gotta
because
give it some chances.
yeah.
But also, again, really, we can't fully judge it until the actual
Yeah.
game is out and we
yeah, until I
played
see
it and
something at
see
Summer
how it
Game
judges
Fest, I'll
ourselves.
judge it then. Rather
I
than
just
Yeah.
that,
feel bad because
Because
I've
there's
noticed like
definitely people, the game's not even out, and there's definitely people who are already hating on it and already
oh
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that it's
I
gonna be
know
bad.
all the
I know.
grifters, all them
And don't get me
stupid.
wrong, there's definitely the other side that people are praising it too much. But again, those
Yeah,
are just,
yeah.
very
That's what I'm
excited
saying. They're
fans.
very excited. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the very excited guys than the grifters because the grifters,
Mm-hmm.
they're coming out saying, oh, like, he's Wolverine's killing Spanish. Like, I'm like, what, like, he's in South America. Like, what do you want him to
it's
do?
just I mean
It's the same
that's
thing
the
they said
thing.
with Resident Evil. And I don't know, like, Retro can back me up in this, yeah. It's the same thing they said about Resident Evil 5 if it came out today. They're killing black people because it's in Africa. And it wasn't, and there's not just black people in Africa. There's also white people too. It's
Right.
just,
Yep,
It's
again,
yep.
diverse. The
they're
world
just
is
like
diverse no matter where you go.
they're so silly. Like I don't understand
Mm-hmm.
that.
That's why I
Mm-hmm.
hate that. Like I hate that we still live in a world where grifters have so much power because these people give them so
Now
much
you know what?
power.
Their power's starting to run out because
I mean, it is starting to run
honestly,
out, but
how
it's like
many,
I
how
was
much,
having like, yeah, it is starting
like
to
the
run
way
out.
I can see it's
I
just
just
weird.
feel, oh yeah, it is weird. I think the thing
Mm-hmm.
that's really weird about it that really upsets me is like, I feel like right now, life is too short. Like I've come with the like realization, like for a long time, I struggled with, oh yes, it's okay to be critical and to accept that you're upset over a game or a movie, something that doesn't make your expectations, and that's great. But it's like, but one of the things I noticed that really kind of bothers me these days is
Mm,
I noticed
yeah.
that this year alone, we entered, we got past 2025. There were some wins, there were some losses, whatever, right? We made it through
Mm,
another year. Great for us. But I don't know about you guys, but in 2026, the energy, I'm seeing far more people on the negative side of the spectrum in terms of like pop culture and just life in general. They've chosen this choice to be negative, like that it's a cool new
Right.
hipster
yeah,
trend.
it's cool
But
new
I would
And
thing.
it's just
Yeah,
also
like,
yeah.
say though, I think there is more of an uprise for people who are more becoming more open-minded and more on the
yeah, that's
positive.
true.
Like obviously
Yeah.
there's always going to be negative Nancy's, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
100%.
And I really think because it's really because they're just so loud about their hatred that it seems like there's more than they
yeah. And
are,
they got their
but
Yeah,
it's
cult
yeah,
really a
following
yeah.
as well.
small
So
group. Like if you go outside and you're not on the internet,
yeah, it's
like
less. It's less
it's
than you think.
yeah. Yeah. I personally, when it comes to the Wolverine, more specifically to get back on that on the game,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I was like, okay, I understand. Mystique is, she's a seductive, temperance kind of villain, which I like. I'm a sucker for those kind of girl villains. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they literally show her in the dark in the trailer, and everybody was like, "No, she's not hot enough. No, she's not sexy." It's like, oh my god, you guys, you're playing a Wolverine game. put your hands both on the controller. Like, oh my god, it's just so annoying. But
It is annoying. It's like, why is that such a big?
I mean, again, I will say when it comes to Insomniac specifically, they do kind of make everyone ugly, but at least they do it equally. I will say,
Right.
Yeah.
Insomniac and
And to
True.
be, and to be
but
fair,
it's
that
like,
shot.
guys, it's a Wolverine game at the end
I
of the
think-
day. It's okay if Mystique does, especially a literal shapeshifter who can take on any form that she wants. It's okay that maybe she's not the hottest girl, okay, in the game. Like,
And
I
also,
Yeah,
think
like,
everyone
you know
will
what I'm
Mystique,
saying?
win.
like, and also Mystique, like, one of the things that's really cool about Mystique, if you really pay attention to reading comics, the whole thing about Mystique's character that's such a big deal is that Mystique shapeshifts because she's not proud of her. At first, she's not
Right,
proud
she's very
of her
shameful.
mutant
That's her
blood.
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah,
insecurity, and that's why
Yep.
with like
Exactly.
Nightcrawler, her son, like like they're both blue, and then she's like, "Nah, you ugly," and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, Choisin. I'll get back to that in a second. Okay. Anyways, but what was I gonna say? Sorry, I got off track. Yes, Mystique is like very like that's her insecurity is that she wasn't.
Mm.
She was, and this is what many of the mutant characters face in the Marvel world is like they feel different. They don't feel like they belong, and that's what makes the X-Men so special as their own group of team. Is that it really
Right.
can represent all of us, no matter where we come from. It's like
I agree.
we
And that's
all
why I think
find
that's
a
why I
sense
think
of
right
belong.
now. That's why I think right now, like storylines with, and this is why I've been reading a lot of X-Men comics lately. This is
Yeah.
why I feel that Marvel as a brand, and I think DC will do. Of course, DC's got storylines they're going to do. They're going to be great moving forward. But I think Marvel right now, like once we get X-Men 97 out, season 2 out here, and we start to get the lot more of the X-Men in like their live action plan, it's going to hit so good because I feel in our world right now we need that kind of. We need the mutants because the mutants and the
Yeah.
X-Men bring that sort of reflection of diversity that the world is
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
getting right now. We're
Exactly.
not getting that love. We're not getting
I will
that.
say to
Thank you.
answer Retro Lads things, like, but they
Yeah.
did make MJ
Yeah.
ugly in Spider-Man 2. She's meant to be beautiful. Here's my take on that. Is like,
Yeah.
are they? And also the same thing with Mystique too. That again, it wasn't a lot of scenes with
Yeah,
her, but it's like, is she really ugly, or does she just look like a regular woman that you would see on the?
I
Like,
think
don't
she
get me
just
wrong,
looks.
again.
I think she just looks regular. But the thing is, I
Right,
do
but
feel
here's
like
the thing, MJ. But there's nothing wrong with looking regular.
yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. Obviously, for me, I didn't really bother. I didn't see that as much of an issue.
Right.
But I do understand, like, okay, why did you change the first phase
Why did you change
initially?
the face?
Because
Right.
I mean, she already looked how she looked. You should have just
And the
kept it
Mary Jane
initially.
Right,
That's
I
the way it's
totally
but
understand the
I'm not
annoyance
like-
of like changing the
Yeah.
face
Yeah,
from no
I
matter
get it,
how it was.
100%.
Because here's the thing: is that I think if they were to change her face to even look more beautiful, people would complain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, but again, with
You
more
can't
spec-
win, basically.
right, but with more Mystique specifically, MJ, whatever, I don't care. But like Mystique, especially, is like I totally understand the criticism. Is like Mystique is supposed to be good looking, and she uses that to advantage, but also again, like we said earlier, it's like part of her character is that she has to learn to love herself, and I think
Yeah.
that's just like I don't know, I just think it's more important, it's more on the inside that counts.
Yeah, and
as
she
cheesy
could
as it
literally-
is,
And
it's
she could literally be
But
going
yeah,
throughout the
Mystique's
game.
character, that's it.
She could literally be going throughout the game, like you said, kind of about her being a seductress, right?
Mhm.
She could be going through on her mission to the game, being these like more
Right, she literally
bombshell-based
shapeshifts.
women. Like
right,
she could really
she
go
could
through the
look
game.
like she can literally look like however she wants.
Like it's a rated M game, so she might be trying throughout the game when she's trying to sneak into these buildings, whatever her mission is. Her part of the story, she might be dressed as very attractive women to reflect
Right.
that she doesn't find herself attractive, and so
Right.
that could be a thing that they do. Which is another thing that people don't understand about Mystique is the whole mutant and proud thing. She's not proud at first of being, especially if this is her beginning to this new story. She's not proud of being a mutant. She's not proud of having blue skin. Like she's ashamed
Unless
of that.
again we don't know where the game is set. Again, it could be a time skip, and it's like this is Mystique, and this is who I am, and this is what I do. Which I
Right.
see that's where they're gonna lean towards more realistically. I think this is gonna be kind of set in the future, in
Right.
some capacity.
Yeah.
But right again, I just think people. I think the problem in general, people nitpick or critique the wrong things and they're not
Mm.
looking at the big picture.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah.
really true. I feel like that's really that's a really good take. I really appreciate
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
I think
Alright.
I think that's really it's and you know it. I like your idea of like when you the way you look at it is like we need to start. What I would love to see, and one of my goals as building my communities and doing things as a YouTube creator and just as a fan that I want to start doing, is I want to see as a goal for 2026 for every negative one person out there that has a million subs on YouTube or whatever, right? For
Yeah.
all the geek gamers, all the nerdrotics, all the whoever they are, right? I
Yeah.
want to see someone even with smaller numbers double down on that positivity. So if there's something that someone's shitting on and you just like are excited about it,
Yeah.
do not let them silence you. You get to have your opinion. Like I was on
Yeah.
Twitter today, and we'll talk about this in later in the stream. There were people shitting all over, even though it's been mostly liked. Right? Someone was
Yeah.
trying to fight, saying that people aren't excited for One Piece season 2. So someone was trying to start a fight in the comment section, saying, "Oh, no one cares about this live action anime slop." I'm like, bro, did you not watch season 1? Like people actually like are very
People wanna
excited for
see
this
it.
second season.
People wanna
Like and
see
they
it.
want to see it. And it's like it's crazy because you're seeing
Yeah.
people
But
you're seeing people freak out. But that's their opinion. Yeah, but here's the thing,
Yeah.
Chris, that you're missing on this
my
situation.
let me add to that because I feel like
Yes.
okay, like is their opinion is cool. I have no problem with people saying their opinion,
Right.
but I feel like you got to be constructive with your opinions
Yep,
nowadays. Because,
exactly. And these
like
people
this is the
Or
one thing that the
or just
grifters. This is the one thing the grifters love to do
Mhm.
is like they will be talking about negative things, woke this, DI, but then it's like you're kind of beating a dead horse, and also
Right.
it's like you can only talk about that narrative only so much. You know what I
I
mean?
also
You can only
think
go so far in that content.
Oh,
So eventually it's gonna run dry at some point.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I
that's how
also
I see it.
to go back on to like piggyback off of that is like I also think it's okay to not like everything, but I think
Yeah.
the problem is too is like if you don't like something and then you just go to personally insult someone who does like it, then that's where you
Yeah,
draw the
that's
line.
what I'm
Like
saying. Like people just need
personally,
to.
I'm not into One Piece. I'm not into
Yeah,
the live action.
but
I'm
you
not
don't
even
s-
into the original anime. But I'm not gonna walk up to people being like, "Ooh, you like One Piece? Are you
Yeah,
dumb?"
that's
Like,
a lot.
and
That's
that's
just
what they
yeah.
do, and
You
it's
let
like, well,
people
that's not
enjoy
really
it,
fair to say.
and it's
and
hard
that's
for
the thing
people
that
nowadays.
frustrates me
Yeah.
is like it's like if you have an opinion on something, and
Mhm.
I know it's the internet and this is a new thing for people, but if you
Mhm.
don't like something,
You can just
instead of
scroll.
trying to build
Yeah.
yourself, instead of trying to build some following by saying that you hate something, how about you just say, you know what? I don't like this thing, but it's cool that everybody else does. You
Or
know,
it's
Yeah,
okay
word.
to
like
have something that you
right.
hate, right? Like I've had
Yeah.
Like
my fair
literally,
share of
yeah,
being like, I
literally.
hate this
I did
thing,
this
but don't make
the
that
other
your
day.
entire thing. You know?
I did this the other
But
day on
like
Twitter. Like I saw somebody talk about the Star Wars sequels and talking about why a lot of people are still going on and hating on it, but I like the sequel, like the sequels due to the X, Y, and Z. And I said the sequels are not for me, but if you enjoy it, that's cool. It's cool,
Right.
good. Hey,
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
literally.
stop you. You know what I mean?
It's
and
That's
not
I
the
just
end
see
of
how
the
it is.
people
world.
I
Literally.
see people trying to try new people trying to get in the Star Wars fan base and try to be fans, and they're jumping on their jump off point was the sequels. And
Yeah.
we have people say because they like the sequels that they're not true fans, right? And like Star Wars is divided up in these different fandoms. There's these different groups, but it doesn't have to be that way. If someone
No.
likes the sequels, you can just say, okay, well maybe they saw something differently that I just didn't care for, but they see this is their jumping off point on Star Wars. The prequels were criticized for years, and then
Mhm.
people really liked them, so they could literally just say, hey, you know what? I don't like this, but you really seem to enjoy that. That's really cool.
Right. Well, I
Like,
also
Yeah.
think it's like the issue with black and white thinking. It's like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sequel trilogy either, but there's definitely lots of part in each of those movies that I enjoyed, or
Yeah,
something that could have led
100%.
somewhere
Same.
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so speaking
Cool.
of One Piece, I wanted to show you guys this real quick.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got this yesterday. So this is Zoro. He goes my Sanji I have, and They actually, this is
Okay, cool.
I think they call it in Japan, they call this an SH figure. And so I won't show you all the accessories, but he has a lot of different heads you can change. And the head I have on him allows him to hold the sword in his mouth. If you've seen the anime, you know that's his trademark thing. So kind of for you not knowing the anime, his significant styles, he's the only character in the One Piece world that can wield 3 swords as once as a technique.
Oh, okay.
So he puts one sword in his mouth, and then he holds these other 2 swords. And so he has 3 swords on him, and he actually has a case, and he can use the 2 to connect, to almost like spin them. But then he also can like actually use the 3rd sword to slash at the same time. So he gave it a lot of different head sculpts, but only some of the head sculpts have the sword, have this. They designed this is a more expensive figure because he the face model, and they did all, like my Sanji, they did a good job, and he's pretty decent. But so if you look at the comparison, the Sanji right here, very good figure, very good design for the anime, whatever. But like the face isn't like 100% perfect, but it's still good enough. With this one, they call this super modeling. So like I have different heads and stuff.
So it's more detailed. It's
more detailed, which is why it's more pricey. And so it's really cool because like he came with, to his hip, he has models of the swords that are actually clipped on him, but then he also has his 3 that you can use for poses as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's really cool. So I just want to show you when we're talking about One Piece.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. But so I got that yesterday, and I have an unboxing video for that coming out later today. I'm still editing it. But so yeah, I just think like, stuff like that really bothers me because I've evolved since last year. My thinking over time has evolved to being a more open-minded sense. I don't have a problem that other people have problems with something that I like. It's that I think the thing that bothers me is there was a time where someone like Star Wars is not always a cool thing. Like when I was growing up, not everyone liked Star Wars. And now, we see people back in the day, people bully each other over Star Wars. There was a time where if you like Star Wars, you were bullied, And like the thing that I think is so crazy to me is like, because things are a mainstream thing, I think it's so sad that we live in a world where people want to put people down. And I'm not even mad. Like, if you really don't like something, like I don't like The Last of Us Season 2, but at the Game Awards, it got praise.
Right.
So like somebody clearly liked it, and I don't have a problem with it. I didn't make a rant about it. I didn't say, "Oh, this is absolutely an abomination. How dare this happen?" I said, "Oh, well, that kind of sucks." But somebody clearly liked the second game and thought it was a good adaptation because that award was based on adaptation, and they thought it was a good enough adaptation of the game. So they might be a super fan of Last of Us Season 2. They were that voted like the actual game and been like, this is a good adaptation of the game, and that's what happens. And the thing that I'm annoyed about, and this is what I'm seeing in this world since last year, but it's now elevated into 2026, is if somebody hates something, it becomes a trend now that they're not hating. A lot of these people are not hating something just because they want to state their opinion. Like restaurants say, "Oh, that's their opinion." But if you really studied some of the people, like those people I name dropped, they're hating things because they know they can make money hating them. They're not doing it because they genuinely hate them. They're doing it because they found out that people will listen to them, and then they're putting these fake opinions out there because they know, okay, hey, this is what we would see. Like you catch them seeing things they generally care about, but then over here they say, "Oh, I can make thousands of dollars over here." Like, "Oh, I like Marvel. I like to talk about things in Marvel. I have Marvel Insight, like Nerdrock and Critical Drinker do." But then they go over here and they go, "I don't like Miss Marvel. I don't like Captain Marvel. I don't like She-Hulk. I don't like these things." Right? Fair enough. You have to go out of your critical things. But then they go off and they'll say things like, "Oh, I'm really excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but you know what? I'm a racist and I hate Miles Morales, and I made $1,000 making Miles Morales bad on Twitter, and you can too." They promote that you should hate on something because they hated on it, right? Like I don't like Rings of Power. I think the fact that Rings of Power exists as a continuation of any or prequel of any Lord of the Rings thing, people have gone absolute batshit crazy on that show. I sat there and
mean, to be fair, Rings of Power has not
very
the
bad.
best writing.
It's very bad.
It's had its issues. It's got its issues.
And also, what's hard about Rings of Power specifically is that Lord of the Rings is is very
So beloved, yeah.
articulated in its lore, and to stray
Yeah.
away from that, that's
Right.
where you get in trouble. If it's a thing
Yeah.
like Marvel, Star Wars, and you're straying away a little bit, sure, who cares?
Yeah,
But
but
Lord of the
it's-
Rings, that's where it gets messy. But
Yeah,
I know that we
yeah.
went on our big rant about this, but let's bring it back in. Back
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
next topic.
Are we
Since
going Mortal Kombat 2
we're
now?
moving on. Since we didn't really get any trailer for Wolverine, there are some things like you said, the One Piece season 2, and there's gonna be a Mortal Kombat trailer dropping tomorrow. You
Yeah.
guys want to say anything on that? I have no interest
So
in
I
either.
wanted to
But
Yeah,
talk
no,
about
that's
one.
dope.
So we got some news about One Piece season 2 that I'm trying to figure this out because I think the whole season is supposed to drop on March 10th, if I'm correct, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's the whole season.
Okay,
Just like the first
because
one.
that's interesting. Because like I heard a new report today that apparently they're going to drop the first 2 episodes in theaters in U.S. and it looks like China and maybe even Canadian, I guess, theaters. And that there is only going to be the 2 episodes. It's not going to be the whole season. But what's weird is somebody was making a comment on it, saying that, oh well, this means that I have to wait a whole week to watch episode 3. I'm like, does that mean that they think they're going to drop more episodes in theaters, or do they really not understand that all the episodes drop? Because Netflix doesn't do. Because Netflix doesn't do weekly releases. Netflix does binge. So,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, I believe that they're dropping all the episodes. So whether
Yeah,
you choose
but
to
to have
watch
the
it,
first 2 episodes in cinema, though, I
Yeah.
don't know. Because like, it's
yeah.
just
So whether you choose to watch them in cinema or watch them at home, you should be able to watch the first 2 episodes in cinema, and then you should be able to watch episode 3, whatever, through the rest of the season on your streaming service, whatever. So my question is, Chris, after what we saw, what happened with Stranger Things' final episode, right?
Yeah.
And they've been doing this with a lot of other IPs as well. What do you think about the idea of streamers putting out episodes for the big screen as like their kind of premiere event? Do you like this idea? Do you think it's kind of like, do you think it's a new gimmick they're trying to pull off of? Like, I saw someone say that they think this is a way for streaming services to act like they're a movie studio and be able to like kind of have these events since they're not getting enough promotion from their streaming stuff. So I was curious what you think about that.
I mean, obviously, because of how things are, I think because of how One Piece is, it's a show anyway. Like, again, like obviously that in the anime there is One Piece movies you can watch in it. So,
Right.
but I don't feel like they were kind of you could go to the cinema and watch them kind of. You could just have the luxury of being at home. I feel like so it's that. But I think I get why they're doing it because obviously Netflix does have a tendency to be like, oh yeah, we don't want to put certain films in. We want it to come straight to the streaming service, which I don't think is necessarily a good idea because there's some films we would like to see in cinema. There's some films I watched on Netflix. I'm thinking this could have been in cinema.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I could have seen it. I could have seen it being really good. The box office could have been well for it, but you know what I mean? Like I remember even the film, like what was it, for example, 6 Underground with Ryan Reynolds. I feel like that could have been in the cinema.
That should have been in cinema because I remember when that movie came out, and that was a really good Ryan Reynolds kind of like action adventure movie, and so that should have been in cinema. And I think like the thing, I think their evolving thoughts on that topic have evolved because maybe now that we're starting these live events with Netflix, maybe this is just a taste about what's going to come. Even though I don't really want to touch on this topic because I don't want to go into all the logistics that are going on about it, but like hopefully this is kind of a taste of if Netflix gets Warner Brothers, hopefully this is a taste of like, because I know the last update I had heard that was kind of interesting was that the CEO of Netflix had said that he wants to do 45-day or more releases with movies and TV shows in theaters, which is what a lot of people want. So if that's what we get, then I think because the 45-day window is something they haven't been doing since COVID happened. So they actually go to that model and like we look at TV shows and stuff. Like the bummer of the TV shows is this is an event. So that means if you buy tickets for this, you're only getting 1 day to do this, right? But that they showed at the box office that when Stranger Things, just for that final episode, even though that season was utter garbage, That episode that got some oomph. Like there was people that went that one day, and yes, it was a holiday, it was New Year's, but I've seen people post about these One Piece episodes and go, "This is like a holiday. We get to go celebrate, One Piece." They're excited about it, and I think that's cool. That if they're gonna do events like this, and this is gonna be a new norm, I'm kind of down for it because it's kind of like
because didn't they do that for well, actually no, I think Cobra Kai was like a early screening kind of thing.
Yeah, they did an early screening thing. They did that.
Yeah.
They've done this with Game of Thrones with episodes of story arcs. They, even though it's not a good show, they did it with Inhumans to kind of test out the show. Now, unfortunately, that show didn't do well. But the promise of it sounded promising, and like this is kind of a good way to kind of get the word out. Because I wonder if like one of the cool things about these theater releases is what normally happens is you'll usually have to wait a little bit for the episodes to drop on Netflix, right? So what might happen with these 2 episodes is you might get to see these episodes before the people watch it on Netflix, right? And then you could go home and you're like, oh, imagine episode 2 ends in theaters, and like, holy shit, this is amazing. I need to watch episode 3 right now, right? You go home, you get your popcorn, you get your soda, you log into Netflix. Oh shit, I can watch episode 3 through 8 right now. Fuck yeah, let's go do it. Like, if that's the case, then you're getting these events that are hyping it up. Because I remember with Stranger Things, we watched the Stranger Things finale before Netflix even got their drop for the final episode. So if they're going to do that again, I think that's great. Because it goes, okay, this is an event now. Let's get the Straw Hats out at Hot Topic. Let's go let's go dye our hair green. Let's carry 3 swords with us and, go crazy. Bring the cook, bring the kitchen, get some reindeer ears, celebrate Chopper, do all these cool stuff. I'm like, I was even looking at today. I was looking at Barnes and Noble for the manga for One Piece, and they're at like issue 110. And my girlfriend was asking me about if I was gonna get a new manga. I was like, no, I'm just watching the anime. I'm just watching the live action show at this point because I think that they're doing such a good job. I'm not dedicated to doing the fucking, what is it, 1,000 episodes or BS that they have?
1,000.
I'm not doing that. Yeah. And I think that even for someone, and yes, I'd seen episodes of it when it was on Toonami or whatever, but like from what I've seen online, this is the first time, and I'm sure you have a lot to say about this too, Chris. I really do think they're nailing it. Like when I watched season 2 or when I watched season 1, when I watched the last Airbender show that they put out on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, I'm rewatching the original show. I'm not touching that whatsoever anymore. Because even though there's some nice things in it, I'm like, this is better than the Shyamalan movie, but this isn't better than what's come before. I have this. Why would I watch this when this is over here? Yeah. And I already know I like this. These are my things. It looks nice. I'm going to keep watching it, right? When I look at the anime for One Piece, or I look at the manga with the live action, I like what I'm seeing with the live action. Like from the beginning of the first episode of the live action, I was like, yeah, this is One Piece. It's a pirate adventure. And since we lost Pirates of the Caribbean so long ago with Disney, this is a good way to fill my pirate vibe and being like, oh shit, I get my live action love for anime, but I get my Pirate of the Caribbean vibe of like doing these treasure hunts and having that feeling of like that. So I just really like that. I think that's cool. I think they're doing such a good job with the live action and all the trailers, all the promotion for season 2. As much as I love season 1, they're doing a really good job of like going, yeah, you love season 1, you're gonna love season 2. And I really think that's like, as you being an anime fan, like, what are you feeling like with the uprise of live action One Piece, like with the promotion for season 2? Are you feeling like March 10th isn't far away? Like, do you feel like you're really excited because you love season 1 that much? Are you feeling like the promotion is doing its job?
Yeah, I feel
Netflix
like
event?
Yeah, because I feel like when it comes to live action anime, innit, and live action anime for as long as I can remember has always been a flop. Like it's never not many that's been good. Unless if you like, even when you see in Japan and they do it their way, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But at least I respect they use the source material in a way to try and make it work. If it doesn't work, cool. But when it comes to the West, it's just like you guys have forgotten the basic premises of like a certain anime show or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't, like like going back to Dragon Ball Evolution, going back to Ghost in the Shell movie. What else is there? There's been a few live action stuff that I've seen, and I'm just like, or even the Death Note live action was bad as well. It's just like,
Yeah.
man, when are we gonna get a good live action? So when I saw
saw
One
that,
Piece,
yeah.
I said, you know what? Let's see how this turns out. I see how it turns out from the first season. I was like, okay, cool. Like the reason why I've kind of skipped over season 1 is because I've already seen that early stage and stuff like that already. So,
Right.
but it's good to see that I'm seeing what exactly I saw in the anime and how it's playing out. So
And
I'm
it's
like,
nice that they didn't try to
thank
do
you.
anything that changed anything different. It felt like it was a good adaptation of that first arc. We were like, okay, this is Luffy. He wants to be a pirate. He wants to build his crew, and we
Yeah.
meet each of the crew members. And they did to a T. They did everyone's arc right. Like, I like how Nami starts out, and she's not the friendly person. She's the thief. She's out there for herself, which is what pirates are supposed to be. So even though there's
Yeah.
a Straw Hat crew, I like that even though we can't trust her at first, when we find out that she's the thief, well, because pirates have, even though they say there's no honor among thieves, you still get like that feeling like, oh, we don't trust you. We're going to keep you with us. And they eventually come to terms with, oh, yeah, we would steal from each other anyway. So even though Luffy's like the most chill captain that you can imagine, he still had the way he grew up wanting to be a pirate. His version of being a pirate is very different than some of these other pirates in the anime. Like Buggy being a pirate is very different. Some of the other captains you see, he really is kind of trying to create. So even though I love Zoro and Sanji, I actually relate a lot more to Luffy. One thing I love about Luffy being done so justice in live action is it is the fact that he it is something we need in this world right now. The positivity, the fact that he's so like, I love how he's always wanted to eat things and just like his excitement of like, oh look, we're going on these adventure in the Grand Line, like season 2. That's the theme. We're heading in the trailers. All the trailers I've seen, the marketing is we're going to the Grand Line. We're doing this, and they've done such a good job of getting that spirit. Like Naruto has that with Naruto in the anime and stuff. For Naruto, you have that like believe it energy with Naruto, and that's great.
Same.
But like Luffy, you get a much more like even more hopeful, because there's some moments in Naruto where Naruto gets quite sad, and you see him get isolated from
He's not sure of himself.
And like with One Piece, you see him kind of feel like an outcast, but instead of sitting there moping about it, he does something. He moves forward. He gets to be a captain of a ship. He gets to meet these friends and find that unity. And I think that's something that we're seeing in pop culture right now that I think is speaking volumes. Because after I watched Superman, and this is kind of more an unrelated topic, because of what I do for a job in the real world, I have come to the point that I want to see more hopeful characters. Like I love that we're getting dark characters like Batman. I love that those characters exist, and I love the emo characters. I think they're great. But right now, because of where we are in the world and everything, I think we need this hopeful spark. Like, it was said in the sequels, the spark that will light the resistance. And I think that, even though I don't like the sequels, I'll give Poe Dameron, aka Oscar Isaac, that. At least we are needing that hope, that spark. Like, or in Leia's words, that new hope. We need that new hope. And, when I watched Superman, I was filled with joy, not even just on the quality of the film, just like seeing that. Well, I love Henry Cavill, just seeing like Henry Cavill's Superman. Everyone claims to love him, but if you've read a Superman comic, you understand Superman, you should be jumping for joy that there's a Superman that wants to be hopeful, and you're seeing that movie, even though it was an entire different media, entire different thing than like anime, to see more characters in these dark places be jumping for joy and be happy, I think is amazing. Like, I think that's wonderful. Because a lot of us, when we're seeing what's going on in the world, a lot of us, when we're seeing what's going on in the world, we're running to this, we're running to these things for an escape, right? We go to the cinema for an escape from what's happening in the real world. Well, I like that there's people that are like, hey, let's go on an adventure. I'm Luffy, and my name's Monkey D. Luffy, and let's go have some fun, everybody. Join my crew. I'll keep you well fed, and we're gonna get rich and lots of money. And like, I just love that. I think that's such a cool thing that we're seeing that more now. more of these
Yeah, no,
hopeful
definitely,
characters.
definitely. I definitely agree with that because I feel like Luffy. When I look at the big animes that like Naruto, One Piece, even Bleach to an aspect, like these characters are like they can get serious, but they also know when like, yo, I need to. What if I need to speak some hope into some people because otherwise I'm gonna lose them. If I lose them, then we don't really function properly as a group. So
Yeah,
that's the one
yeah,
thing I've always liked about One Piece is that, like, I know people talk about their 1,000 episodes and stuff like that, but I say this to the people that haven't watched that are anime watchers but haven't watched One Piece, skip to episode between 400 to 500, the Marineford arc is one of the best. I feel like that is probably one of the best arcs in the anime as a whole. That's one of the arcs that I love. That is like
right.
with hands down. You know what I mean? And again, I'm somebody who started watching One Piece on Toonami, and I still watched it in the early 10s. And the reason why I fell off with it is because I just had other animes that I wanted to watch, so I left out of
Right.
One Piece way in the back. So
Yeah, and a
now I
thousand
picked it up
episodes is
again.
too much. It's
Yeah,
too
you know what I'm
much,
saying,
man.
and I get that, and I get that. But what I also tell people as well is that when it comes to fillers, One Piece doesn't have much fillers. They have 100
That is
episodes
good.
of fillers, whereas 1,000 episodes is legit story. So I do
Yeah.
think people need to actually understand that there's a lot of story that needs to be told with each character. And
Right.
like I've just heard recently that Zoro has gotten his main arc for like the last few hundreds of episodes, and I'm just thinking kind of makes sense because I've been wanting to see like what's his story, where does it come from. So when I get there, I'll be like, okay, cool, this is what's going on. So
That is cool
maybe
that they are
that's it.
doing that, and I
So
think that's cool.
that's
But
what
I
they're
also
doing.
think that we're getting like as much as we have these other things, people could do 1,000 episodes. I'm glad for people that are just interested in this story that didn't have time because they have full-time jobs or whatever, don't have time to invest in 1,000 episodes, or don't want to read a
Mm.
manga and they want to see. I think the thing that's so great about getting
Yeah, I think
live
that,
action
yeah,
anime, and why I'm
Netflix is
so
definitely good.
excited, is the fact that getting live action anime done right is like when you're looking at these characters. When I see live action Luffy, I can feel that spirit. I can see where this character is coming from, and I think if I'm reading the anime and I see something emotional, yeah, I can understand the feeling of the book, but like watching it on the screen is just different. It just feels different. But anyway, even though I have lots to say about One Piece, we jogged about One Piece a lot. We can talk about One Piece a lot. Me and Luke, and me and Chris could talk about anime for a long time. I want to talk about Mortal Kombat, baby, because we're getting Mortal Kombat 2 trailer
Yeah, finally getting another
tomorrow.
trailer tomorrow.
But
So
before we talk about the trailer, I gotta show you guys. So today, guys, you know what this is? It's
Oh, is
Johnny
that-
Cage.
Oh
It's
my god, it is
Carmen,
Johnny
baby.
Cage.
I had
okay,
to.
okay.
I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help
Yeah.
myself. Box Lunch had it. I could not. And just so you guys know, when I see that movie, whether Warner Bros. Wants to be nice and give me exclusive tickets like they did Superman, whatever happens, I'll be showing up, wearing the jacket and the glasses, going crazy because Johnny Cage. But let's talk about this trailer, guys. We're getting we're getting the another Mortal Kombat trailer for a movie that is dropping in the summer. Summer's packed, guys. Movies, the summer is looking good. But so, I kind of like with this movie, the crazy thing is like when they first showed the trailer, I was so all in with this. And then I heard about the delay, like, oh man, I wanted it in October, and then October will come late, and but then I'm kind of like Ed Boon, who makes Injustice and all the Mortal Kombat stuff, is like, no guys, don't worry. This movie is going to be amazing. We're here with the test screenings, and I know I've heard test screenings in Supergirl and all that, and a lot of people like, I'm still looking forward to Supergirl. But I feel like out of all the Warner Brothers projects, I believe them. Like, yes, they're trying to hype their product up. Yes, they're a company that want to make money, right?
Yeah.
But I believe them when they say that they are hyping this movie up for a reason. I believe them that this hype is legitimate. Like, I see people like, oh, they're just doing this because it's their product, they want to make money. Based on what I'm seeing from just the one trailer, I believe why they're hyping up this movie, because even though I'm one of the few people that actually enjoy the first movie, I do think they know they got something on their hands that people are going to lose their shit over. And I think, well, the first trailer gives us a good look at Johnny Cage. I think this second trailer is just going to reveal to us why it took so long why they wanted this movie in this, as much as this movie would have made a lot of money in October. The reason they moved this movie is summertime is movie season, baby. They're like, oh, look at this. We got all these movies coming out in the summer. They're like, oh, May's the first month where summer truly kicks off. We don't got a
Yeah.
Marvel movie in May. We gotta wait till July for Spider-Man. So they're like, Ed Boon's like, yeah, you know how we're gonna start the summer? Yeah, fuck Marvel versus Mando versus Grogu in late May. We got Mortal Kombat, baby. Come on, let's go. We got Mortal Kombat. Like Mando and Grogu, you're taking your kids to, but you're a video game fan. We're on the uprise of video game movies right now. Okay, well, you know
Yeah,
what?
definitely.
We're gonna go watch some Mortal Kombat, baby. You're gonna sit there in
Yeah.
the theater. You're gonna
Yeah.
have your popcorn. You're gonna hear that techno music in your head. You like in the old 1980s movie, and you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna watch some fatalities. You're gonna want to go crazy. So
100%. Yeah, no, definitely. I think with Mortal Kombat, man. Yeah, because even like, because when I look back at like the older ones, obviously the first one that came out back in the 90s was really good. The second one wasn't the best, and then in this one,
Yeah.
it's like the first one now that really came out recently wasn't bad per se. It was just like it was missing that spark, man. But there was some really good moments where I felt like, yeah, this could be it, but it's stuff that's in between. But now
And I
I've
felt
seen
like
the
that
trailer.
first movie.
boom.
I feel like that first movie. You trimmed some of the fat out of it. I think it has some great things in it that I think they can definitely improve on in the sequel. Like I like Kano. I think Kano's hilarious in the first movie.
Yeah, Kano was
think
funny.
that-
I liked it. Yeah.
I love the dude they picked for Sub-Zero. I thought they made Sub-Zero super menacing.
Yeah, Sub-Zero.
And I'm really hoping to see. I know he's coming back in this movie. I'm really hoping to see that Noob Saibot, man. I want to see that Noob Saibot. Let's get it. Let's go crazy.
Yeah.
I've been playing the fuck out of the games because I found out my girlfriend is a super big fighting game fan. So I've been enjoying playing the games, like, replaying Mortal Kombat 1, playing Mortal Kombat 11, doing the thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest thing I need out of this trailer to get me like I'm already sold on this movie. I've already bought my ticket in advance. I'm good. But if you want me to really lock in on this movie, I gotta see, and I know he's older. I know Carl Urban. They got lots of good stunt training stuff. I need to see Carl Urban throw a kick. I need to see Johnny Cage throw some kicks. I need to see.
Throw a kick,
I see him
funny,
twirl the
quick,
staff.
you know what I mean?
I've seen him twirl the staff. I've seen him do the flips. I know Carl Urban's our guy, but I need to see some kicks, man. I need to see some high flying kicks, that cocky attitude. I need to see some serious Johnny Cage. Because everybody that's seen this movie from these early screenings, according to Ed Boon, everyone says that Johnny Cage totally steals this movie. So I want that reflected in the marketing. I want to see from the marketing that this, people were hyped that Johnny Cage was coming to this movie. So make it where Johnny Cage is, make it your marketing chip. Make it like, okay, yeah, you like Mortal Kombat, you like all these characters, but let's be honest. You're going to see this thing because Carl Urban's
trust. Like, the thing is, I know a lot of people are like, because the thing is, I love how involved Ed Boon is with this, because it's his stuff. He knows what he's doing with it. I know, obviously, people feel a way about the new first Mortal Kombat game, and it's like, yeah, I get it. I know it's not the best. I know it's not there, like maybe gameplay wise, whatever the case, maybe in some parts of the story and stuff, but at the same time, I saw with this movie, I feel like this is just gonna kind of bring back that spark, and hopefully, if the movie does well, then maybe the games will kind of be okay. Let's really go back to the drawing board of what
maybe he's gonna start revamping the games, because he's gonna realize, okay, people are interested in Mortal Kombat again. Now I need to revamp the games and make something cool, and because people are gonna be hungry. This movie could make people really reinvigorated, as Mortal Kombat could be that new. It's been a franchise for a while, but they might take this movie and go, okay, Mortal Kombat might be one of those IPs. Like, even though I know we got the Mario movie, Illumination's gonna do fine. They're gonna do their thing. Cool. That's for kids. This is gonna be the franchise for video games that I think people go, if we do this right, it's gonna be selling toys again. It's gonna be selling, hotcakes, some new games, probably more movies after Mortal Kombat 2. They've already talked about that, saying that the sequel warrants a third film. So maybe we get some other cool stuff. I think that's the thing, is we get a trailer coming out tomorrow. Are we gonna reinvigorate that hype? Is this movie, when it comes out as a summer release, does it give us confidence that it moving from October to summer, that they know that we have something that they clearly are super proud of? Or is it just, okay, lots of things are coming out in summer, and they're just maybe they think it's a hit, and does it blow up in their face, or is it like, yeah, we really think they have something here and we can't wait to see it? So the trailer is gonna be telling in that way, and hopefully the trailer reveals a bit more about the story, because we don't really know too much about the story yet. We've seen some cool stuff. We know Johnny Cage is involved. We know he's chosen as a champion.
Yeah.
So like that's the other thing. Was like, do we see more of the tone in the movie? Do we see more of the characters we haven't seen yet? Like, I think that's gonna be the thing. But I think, yeah, I'm excited for this trailer. I'm looking forward to the movie. I love Mortal Kombat. I thoroughly enjoyed the first movie. I do agree that there were some things that was missing from the first movie. I like that this movie we're actually going to see an actual tournament. I like that we're going back to the basics.
That's the
I like
main
that it's
thing.
going to be an actual tournament. I think that's going to be cool. You got anything to say on Mortal Kombat, Kenna?
Nope.
Nothing.
No good.
I hope you guys love it. I hope it is. I hope it meets your expectations. I'm sure it will be a fun movie. I'm not really into the Mortal Kombat fandom, so again, I'm really on the outside. But I mean, I think it's cool that they have a trailer dropping set tomorrow, and I'm sure it's gonna be good. I mean, I did watch the first trailer, and I thought it looked good. So
yeah,
it looks enjoyable.
That's fair.
But definitely more of a casual, or even less.
No, it's
than
all
a
good.
casual. Yeah.
Retrolad said it's his birthday month in May. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so what's next on our docket? What's our next?
All right. I think it's time to talk about. Well, we can either. I guess, hold on. I'll say the last. So the last two things that we'll be talking about is going to be we got some Darth Maul news for the Shadow Lord show, and then we'll be talking about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But I am going to just do a quick little segment of the comics that I've read before we get into that. So I recently read Ultimate Spider-Man. It just ended with only 24 issues. And the thing about the Ultimate Universe for Marvel is that it's essentially their like absolute universe, like DC, but they did it way first before, but now they're bringing it back. And it was just okay. I think it was not underwhelmed, not overwhelmed, just whelmed. I heard someone say that's how they felt about the Spider-Man comic, and I agree. It's just whelmed, because essentially the Ultimate Universe is that this is very oversimplified explanation, but the Maker, which is essentially evil Reed Richards, made a world where he prevented superheroes from happening. So Peter Parker never got bit by the spider until his adult life. So he lived his life as, he worked at the Bugle. He's married to MJ. They have 2 kids. And then Tony Stark, the son, Tony Stark, he's also, junior, essentially. He appears as a hologram to Peter Parker in his adult life, being like, hey, you were supposed to be bitten by the spider like years ago. And here it is. And he's like, oh, because he always felt like he was missing something in his life because he never got to be Spider-Man during his teenage years. So he gets bit, he lets the spider bit him, and then essentially he's relearning how to be Spider-Man again. And he works with Harry Osborn as Green Goblin. And that's the thing, is that Iron Man was trying to defeat the Maker from preventing superheroes from happening, but the Maker framed Tony Stark for causing this distraction, this catastrophe where Norman and his wife Osborn died. Aunt May died in this universe, but Uncle Ben is still alive. And what else? I'm trying to think. Oh, actually, Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy are married, which I thought was interesting. And it's really cool because they switch it up, with your characters. All good, Joe. But there gets to this part. They do this twist with Gwen Stacy, and this will be a spoiler. I know many probably don't care, but I'm just gonna say now. That they reveal Gwen Stacy to be Mysterio, which I think could have been cool, but then instead of just having her be Mysterio, they have her be this council of Mysterio, so there's other people that are also Mysterio. And I think when I got to that part of the comic, I kind of lost interest, and I just wasn't caring as much. What was cool is that his Peter Parker's son, Richard, he got the symbiote, and so he was like Venom for a hot second, and he worked with Black Cat, And Black Cat's
Mhm.
younger in this version because Peter is already married to MJ, so they
Yeah.
make Black Cat younger to be with the son instead. And I really like those two together. I thought that was interesting. And then, the big plot essentially is like they're fighting Kingpin and they're fighting Mr. Negative, and they defeat Kingpin and Negative with the help of Green Goblin and Doc Ock and the Mole Man. The Sinister Six make an appearance too, but they're really just kind of not as important as Kingpin is in the story. And it's only 24 issues. It's really short, and it's definitely very dialogue heavy, which isn't an
Mm.
issue, but it's definitely, if you're wanting like a more actiony kind of Spider-Man comic, it's probably not this one you're gonna really like. But it was a
Mm.
lot of just really cool ideas, but then it was just didn't really do anything super amazing with them.
Yeah.
But I would still recommend it. I mean, again, it's a good contained Spider-Man story, if anything, and it had the Spider-Man neat feel to it. So it was
Yeah.
still a
Just
good
didn't
comic.
execute on the delivery basically.
Right, and it really, really with the Gwen Stacy part as Mysterio is really what kind of got to me, where I'm like, I just don't. I'm like, I don't care about this change. All the other changes I thought were cool, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this could go somewhere. But then, yeah, really Gwen Stacy, where I'm just like, you kind of dropped the ball there, I think. Obviously, I read there was another major plot twist that happened in the latest issue of Absolute Batman, and there was a lot of things too, but I think this is the biggest one, is that they're finally bringing in the Court of Owls, or they're
Oh,
setting
that's
them
nice.
up. And not only are they bringing up the Court of Owls, but they have his mom, Martha Wayne, be tied to the Court of Owls, because at the end she calls them. So there's also another twist with Martha Wayne where she's, I think, having she's now in a romantic relationship with, I think, Gordon, I'm pretty sure. So I'm like, okay, because in the Absolute Universe, it's only Thomas Wayne who died. She
Yeah,
survived.
Martha's still about, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, because and also they introduced Poison Ivy finally in the Absolute Batman, and I thought her design and I thought her story of how they did Ivy was really good. I think even better than the other villains that they introduced so far. But they're still setting up, so I don't want to judge it too harshly.
Yeah, of course.
Absolute Wonder Woman, always good. Big fan. I know I'm biased, but I thought her latest issue, they did an annual. She had her annual finally, where it's a little story where she helps Medusa break her curse, and it was very sweet, and it was very important to the core of Wonder Woman. But I'm excited for more issues because now Zatanna is in Absolute Wonder Woman now, but Zatanna's kind of a villain right now, so she'll be fighting Wonder Woman in the next issue, and that will be exciting to see. I also read, I finally got around to reading Absolute Martian Manhunter, and I think that one's really good. It has a beautiful artwork. It's very much of like a psychological kind of story, because instead of that, we know like Martian Manhunter, that we know his like alias is that he goes by John, but in this comic,
Yeah.
John is a different person. He's separate from the Martian. And John, he's like this special agent, and there was some accident that happened on his case, and then somehow the Martian found him, and now the Martian's in his head, and it's like kind of like a crime solving thing too, where Martian tells him what's about to happen to prevent the crime that's about to be committed, to track them
So it's
down.
a detective. So it's a detective story for this Absolute Martian Manhunter.
A little bit, yeah. They do
Okay.
set up. They do have a tease though, and again, a little
Okay.
spoiler. There's a tease where Martian Manhunter, essentially he's trying to be like, okay, what's a good idea to prevent this, or how to act next in the future, and he's going through different possibilities. And there's one comic panel where it shows Darkseid, and
That's pretty cool.
And all Martian Manhunter says, bad idea, and then kind of skips over that. So it's like, okay, we're teasing up some big things that might be coming soon in the future in the Absolute Universe.
So they're not ready to do Darkseid and Absolute, but they're kind of teasing that it's a possibility later. Okay, that's
that he's
cool.
out there. That he's out there.
Yeah,
it's a little too early to bring in someone like Darkseid, I think. But it's just like,
it's a nice tease. It's a nice tease. I've enjoyed what I've read about Absolute Batman. I'm caught up on Absolute Wonder Woman. I enjoy. I think the Absolute Universe is really just the absolute, like, pun intended, true comics these days of how to do a proper reset on a universe and do really cool unique things with these
Well,
characters.
you know, I've heard people essentially
Yeah.
say the Absolute Universe is the better New 52, which I think
It
is
is.
quite
It
fair
is.
to say.
I think that's very accurate. I mean, I enjoy a lot of things in New 52, but there are some issues. Now, speaking of Absolute, since you were talking about comics,
Mhm.
do we want to talk about a little bit of the announcement of Absolute Green Arrow? So
Yes.
so
Yeah,
That's
go
will
for
be
it.
coming out in March.
So I'm incredibly excited because if you guys know, when it comes to DC, Green
Oh no,
Arrow is
not
my
March.
most
Is it March or is it
May.
May?
It's
May.
May.
Sorry, I
So-
get them
so
mixed up.
Green-
May.
So Green Arrow is one of my absolute favorite DC characters, and in the Absolute Universe, I've been looking forward to this comic being announced. We now have details on exactly what we're getting, and now I can't wait. I'm gonna have to pre-order this comic for sure. But so, and also the creator of the Absolute Comics actually teased what could be the next Absolute story to come after Green Arrow in this, which I want to talk to you guys about. So with Absolute Green Arrow and I don't remember which comic it's in. I think it might be Absolute Flash. It gets teased in, but
Oh, are you talking about what happens to Oliver Queen?
yes.
So that was an Absolute Evil, where it's a little mini comic where it's all the villains
Okay.
from all the, you know, each individual, you know, comics where they're from, like
Right.
Vicky Val from Wonder Woman. You know, they're all in
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And
So
Hawkeye comes, Hawkman, Hawkeye,
yeah.
Hawk guy. Yep, he comes in and he comes in with, again, spoiler. He comes in with supposedly the dead body of Oliver Queen.
Right.
And a
So
lot
the
of people
mis-
are like, what? Yeah.
So they dropped that little reveal in this universe, and so this is not the first time Oliver Queen has died in comics, but it has
Mhm.
happened. But kind of talked about how cool it was with Martian Manhunter, how it's gonna be. I like that the Absolute Universe is not every comic with the character is the same type of genre or story. So like what's really cool is apparently Absolute Green Arrow, when they have revealed it, the details we got is it's gonna be a slasher story. Because what we do not know Green Arrow's identity in this new storyline, we're gonna see the storyline is gonna revolve around, we got a new design for Black Canary, and Black Canary is going to be investigating potentially this new killer in Star City as Green Arrow. Someone is posing as Green Arrow with a very undead Green Arrow look. And his bow is made out of 2 machetes that he's going around killing different people. And from what it looks like, corrupt politicians, from what it looks like. Which is accurate, because if you guys know anything about the Green Arrow comics, Oliver Queen was a very political figure.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that does line up. Now what's interesting about this is, because it's an undead look, is this a costume that's going to be a big reveal, or do you guys think this is actually them going back on their word that they revealed in that comic, and this is actually undead Ollie acting out these murders himself? Like, that's the question: is does Oliver Queen stay dead? Because in Kevin Smith's run and many other people's runs of Green Arrow, Ollie doesn't always stay dead. And in comics,
Yeah.
both Marvel and DC, they don't always die. So it's a slasher story. Canaries are trying to discover who this is, killing these people. Do you guys think this is a new character and it's going to be a big reveal? Or do you think that this is Ollie himself?
I think it would. I mean, the thing is, like, you kind of feel a bit of a mixture of like, oh, they kill Oliver right away. We don't get to see him in this world. But I think if the Absolute Universe is I think no matter what, it's very dead set on. It's like, we're doing some new stuff with characters that we haven't done before. And
Yeah.
so I'm leaning on the side of like, I wouldn't be mad if it is like zombie Oliver Queen and he's back from the dead, but I also think it's more likely going to be it's someone else. It's someone
Yeah.
completely new under the mask.
I have
I know
two. I have
there's
Yeah.
two thoughts. I have two
Yeah.
thoughts on who it could be. So,
right.
because Absolute Universe started up, and they haven't revealed it, but based on the fact that this Black Canary clearly knew Oliver before he died, because she's clearly cared about
Mhm.
Oliver in this world, I would bet money that it's possibly this could even be, because it sounds like it's a mask, not an actual zombie Green Arrow running
Yeah,
around.
it's like a skull
Um,
mask.
Which is kind of taking a page out of the Ghostface thing, doing it in the DC universe. Which
Yeah.
is the perfect week to talk about that too. Because I'm seeing Scream later this week. But the crazy thing is, I actually think it could either be Connor Hawke, which is Oliver's son, running around, maybe trying to honor his father, and thinks these corrupt politicians maybe were doing something and evolved to what's going on with what happened to Green Arrow, all that stuff. But then also, the other one I think I'm most pertain to, because it makes the most sense, I think it's going to be Roy Harper, revealed like absolute Roy Harper is running around going and trying to kill these people, in revenge for Oliver, maybe just try and just kind of do a little bit of a serial killer thing, little mystery, little interest. But then Scott Snyder, who makes the Absolute comics, also teased at the same time as this Absolute Green Arrow comic is out, that he's now toying with the idea of we're going to get an Absolute Lady Shiva. And if you guys don't know about Lady Shiva from the comics, I most know her from originally debuting in one of the main assassins in Arkham Origins, because she was basically the only assassin of the group that literally her entire thing is that she's said to be the best hand-to-hand combat fighter in the DC universe. Like, she does not have even though you have, Wonder Woman knows how to fight hand-to-hand combat, Black Canary knows how to fight hand-to-hand combat, all these characters have the skills to fight and scrap with different characters. And even though you have Talia al Ghul and all these different female fighters, she is said to be among the very best, like, that nobody has ever beaten her. And she does not have very many, from what I know and when looking at her comic history, I haven't seen too many people that, like, can stand up to her. Like, so I'm curious what an Absolute comic looks like for her. Like, is this going to be the first
how
one
different
that's
it's going to be, or
'cause-
how
'cause if you-
similar?
Because if we got all these different stuff that's going on with these Absolute comics, like, is this gonna be more of like our first true martial arts comic? Or are we gonna have like a Japanese story or a Chinese triad type deal? Like, what's gonna be happening? Like, I'm interested to see. I would say out of all this stuff, because I do love what they're doing with Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman and all these other characters, those are known characters to me. I'd say for me, even though I'm super hyped for this Green Arrow one, hearing the news about this Green Arrow one gets me excited. I'm the most interested in this Lady Shiva one because we don't know anything about it yet. And I think that's got me intrigued. I'm like, oh, what is this? What are we doing here? What's Lady Shiva going to be doing? What's the story? So that's got me excited. I'm definitely interested in what that one is. But what do you guys think about this? Like, we got this, we get a new Green Arrow Absolute comic. That's gonna be pretty cool. And then apparently they were teasing more Absolute comics coming, like Lady Shiva.
Right. I think it's really cool that it's like we got obviously the Trinity with like Absolute Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and then we also have the Flash and Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter, and obviously soon, of course, Green Arrow. But I think it's really just so refreshing, because I think what makes Absolute Universe so good as a comic is that it takes something familiar but makes it different. Like, it's refreshing and it's new, and it's just so, like, the way that it's formatted is so great, and the way that it's written is so well. But like, what I really enjoy is that even though the characters are different, either in appearance or their backstory is different, at the end of the day, they're still very much the same. Like, their core values stay the same. Like, they're still recognizable. They're not entirely different where it's like, oh, this is like too different for me. I can't see how this would even be Batman, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like it hits it just right. And I think it's cool that we're definitely going to get more Absolute comic series of more well-known characters. But I think it's cool that we're going to get a Lady Shiva where it's like, okay, now we can lean more towards the obscure DC characters, like, or just not as popular as the others. So again, it's like the better New 52. It's a whole new universe, but it also feels like a what's the word? I guess a revamp, like a rebrush. Like, it's what makes it good is that it's new and it's well
I get it,
written.
because I mean, DC's told like so much stories already, like, and I realized, like, especially I think why comics started to really like die down like during the 2010s is because some of the stuff was getting retold, like, and they were trying to do it differently, but it just didn't like kind of work because like.
Especially with Marvel, because Marvel is like, I think why Marvel's struggling right now, at least with the comics, like, even though Ultimate is doing pretty decent, it's been done before. And same thing with like, let's redo Secret Wars, let's redo the Civil War. It's like, well, we already seen this a lot. But again, with Absolute, it's like, oh, we haven't seen this at all before. I mean, again, there's some things that's like, got that reference, but again, it's a whole new look.
Is
Which I
there a
think is-
DC comic that you're looking for a specific adaptation of that they haven't done for Absolute yet? If you heard,
I was just thinking an Absolute Shazam, I think would be
Ooh,
really crazy.
yeah,
That would be
that'll
cool
be
to
really
see.
good.
What else would? Oh, I really want Absolute Aquaman. I think that would be fun. I think that would be cool.
that'll be fun.
I think that's being a little. I think that was kind of hinted at in Wonder Woman a little bit. Not really. It was more like, oh, she got the trident of Poseidon, and it's like, guess who also has a trident? Aquaman. It's like, okay, well, but still.
I'm hoping for Absolute Wildcat. I think that's
Absolute
gonna
Wildcat
be
would be good. I would
I
love
think that'd be cool.
Absolute, maybe Dr. Fate, or like, well, because they have Zatanna already introduced in Wonder Woman, she could get her own spin-off as a Absolute
That'd
run
be
too.
cool.
What about Absolute Constantine?
That would be cool. I mean, again, they could just do absolute everything. It just
Yeah,
depends on who
everything,
they
yeah.
want to do first.
I mean, eventually they probably will do everything. So
Right?
that'd
Yeah.
be
No.
cool.
Again, I really Aquaman would be cool. Shazam would be cool. I'm trying to think. Who else?
Aquaman sounds promising.
I know, right? Because a lot of people, I think, feel a lot of Aquaman's kind of underrated. Like, he's popular, but people are kind of like, about him. So
Yeah, I think
an
I feel
Absolute
like
run
the
would be
film's
fun.
kind
He
of
could
good.
use a little revamp. I think a little revamp wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, really the Aquaman, I think, would be a really good new one to do. I'm trying to think who. There's so many characters. That's the hard thing. It's like, well, they in Absolute Evil, they introduce Hawkeye, so they could just Hawkman, so he could have his own run too, because he only appeared so far in that one run. So I just like how they're like, we know that we'll get to these characters eventually, but here you can have a tease of them, so you get the idea. I think they're just a good setup. But yeah, that was enough of my comic talk. I guess now it's time to do the final two segments, which is Darth Maul. Which I know we can talk a lot about Star Wars, so let's do Darth Maul first before we
Before we do that, I got one thing to
Kingdom.
show you guys that you guys can freak out about that I got yesterday. So here is my Gambit statue that I got yesterday.
Could you put it a little closer to the camera?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Okay, cool. So I can see.
Yeah.
So
I see. Yeah, that's right. You got the Gambit. That's right.
So it's got this really cool, and the cool thing that I have to share, I didn't get it ready for this thing. This thing came with a QR code. So this is a McFarlane Toys statue. I didn't know McFarlane made Marvel stuff. I thought they only made DC stuff, but I guess they make Marvel. And so it comes with a stand, a little cardboard stand for X-Men and stuff. It says the X-Men, and it says X-Men on his little background thing. And what's really cool is it came with a QR code on the box that I had to reactivate my Marvel Unlimited account because it came with, let's see if I can show you actually on my thing. It came with a free comic.
Oh, that's cool.
So Marvel Unlimited. So hopefully by next week I can read this comic fully.
Do you know what the comic is?
Yes, it's an X-Men issue number 1. It's a 36 pages. And it is a X-Men issue number 1, October 1st, 1991 comic. It features Cyclops and Wolverine.
Nice.
And it also has Gambit,
of course,
Psylocke, it looks like Dark Angel's in it, Colossus, Rogue, of course, Iceman, majority of the X-Men. So in classic style. So I'll be reading that and then maybe giving a review. Maybe giving a review on that very soon.
Interesting. Okay.
Probably probably next probably even next week.
Okay.
So I also sent me an offer by Marvel Rivals saying don't miss out on 50% off your first month and a free in-game item Land Shark Love game in spray apparently. So
I see, so it gives you a little sticker in the game. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But so I wanted to show that because I'm really proud of that Gambit statue I got. We've been looking for Rogue, but we haven't found Rogue yet. So hopefully we get Rogue.
Yeah, it's not complete without her.
No, we need Rogue. We need Rogue. But yeah, now I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
to talk all things Star Wars. Let me get this article so we have.
Yeah.
You guys remember everything we talked about with the mall stuff, or you want me to pull up the article
I
so we have the
do.
article for
Yeah, I
I
remember.
do for
I
the most
remember.
part.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. So basically, there's some news about a little bit of news, some background information for the Darth Maul show. Sam had to do some live action footage, essentially doing a big reference for the animators. So there's going to be some bizarre scene or something crazy happening in that show where I'm assuming it's going to be an action but also very emotional scene, because Sam said
Mm.
in the article is like he did some moves, but it's like how the animators can see how his eyes move. So then Maul is animated to move exactly how he
Yep.
moves with his acting.
And of
And I
course, he
think
also
that's
did a
really
lot
cool.
of he also did a lot of motion capture, which is cool. Another thing that's gonna be really interesting that nobody knows about that I think is really interesting that nobody's talked about this show because they are so focused on just that Maul is Maul, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys know in Clone Wars, except for so in the I think that when they first brought Maul back in Clone Wars in season 4, season 5, and then season 7, right? In season 4 and 5, Maul's motion capture and stuff, they did all that work with Sam and animators and all that other super good stuff for the action bits, right? But when they did season 7 and Maul came to fight Ahsoka, they brought Ray Park in to do the mocap for the fight. Which when I went to Star Wars Celebration, that was the big thing they did. Now, what's interesting is I've heard nothing about Ray Park being involved in Maul Shadow Lord. So that means a lot of the motion capture. This will probably be a return to Sam because the action looks, from what we've seen in the trailers, the action looks really good. And I also heard that not only is he going to be, I also heard that because this show is coming out in April, I heard that we could be getting another trailer for Maul Shadow Lord actually very soon as early promotion starts around, probably in March as well, because I'm sure it'll probably start to ramp up a month before the release of the show.
Get the hype ready. Yeah.
But so I think that's really cool. I like what this article says about. We have a lot of cool topics to talk about from this article that we go over. But yeah, Ken is right. Like, they did some reference to make his face like, and Sam has been passionate about this show from the beginning, even back in Clone Wars before we even knew this show existed, because he has just wanted a story. Even though he's known for many characters like Starkiller, he's also voiced Palpatine. He's got a lot of other roles, but I think there's something about this character that Sam just loves so much that he was really wanting to do more with Maul than what they've let him do in both Rebels and Clone Wars. And I think this is really cool that, one, we're getting this show. It's the first true Star Wars project we're getting this year, and you're getting to see just the idea of Sam clearly has such passion and depth. And I love that it's not just, Maul's being voiced by Sam Witwer. It seems like he just had such a creative hand with this project.
He's like a writer. He's again, like we said earlier, the action. He'll be doing the action scenes too.
Yep.
And it's like obviously we'll be getting Mando and Grogu soon as a movie, but this is the next other big Star Wars where it's like, okay, this is the show, this is the next project that will be under Dave Filoni as the new president of Star Wars.
And while I saw Mando and Grogu's new trailer, and on the last episode you missed, we talked about Mando and Grogu, and we are looking very positive towards Mando and Grogu after watching this new trailer.
Yeah, so this is the best trailer.
Yeah, it was a good trailer.
I'm personally looking forward to seeing Embo in live action. I think Embo looks great. I think that's really cool. But I think what the thing about Maul Shadow Lord that's different is that what I like about this is like Mando and Grogu we've all accepted is gonna be a fun side mission. Just it's not Mando season 4. It's just kind of a new Mando and Grogu adventure. And people are gonna be upset about that. People are gonna be fine with it, and that's okay. But I think with Maul, we're getting an original story that continues off what we had with Maul previously. But now it's all on Maul. There's no Anakin side mission. There's no Obi-Wan in this. There's no.
It's all Maul focused.
It's all Maul focused. And if you really love this character, and the one thing I love, my favorite piece of information from this device, and I know people, I know there's gonna be some grifters out there already call me a shill. I love that the mandate for this show from our new co-CEO with Dave Filoni and stuff is that Dave Filoni was saying he's pulling a James Gunn and he's saying the one mandate for this show was better acting, better scripts, better cinematography. Like that makes me so happy because I think when we heard the announcement back when they announced Dave Filoni taking Kathleen's job as the co-CEO, I think we all kind of were like, okay, let's see how Dave Filoni does, right? And from what we're hearing from this article, this sounds like this guy knows what's at stake. He took his training from George Lucas and he accepted George Lucas's Yoda lightsaber and went, yep, okay, this is now my role. And it seems like he was held back from the Wicked Witch of the West, if we will, right? Like, you know, she was holding everyone back, and you know, and I think that we're gonna see some new changes in. And I've kind of made this decision that when I first started my YouTube channel, I was gonna double down on Star Wars in the beginning because I was so hyped for what was going on with the Mandalorian and all the different stuff, and I kind of pulled back. But even though I don't want to say worst case scenario, but if some stupid thing happens, like say Paramount does get their hands on Warner Brothers, and that'll be horrible. Let's say something horrible like that happened. I'm definitely doubling down on Star Wars right now because I just I can't accept that DC world if that's what happens. Like, but even if it doesn't, this news, like I haven't made a really good deep and thoughtful Star Wars movie. I haven't made anything. I have a reaction for Mando and Grogu coming out later today. I've barely made anything Star Wars related in a long time. I know I got some stuff about the new games they released and stuff that I'm excited about, but there haven't been any Star Wars news that really kind of gets me amped up. This stuff, even as a big Maul fan, I know I went crazy about the reaction with Maul because, you know, Maul is one of my favorite characters, and that's great. But I haven't really doubled down on like Star Wars yet in a major way, and I think this article that we're talking about here might be my return because next to Sam Witwer, I probably have the most knowledge other than George Lucas and Sam Witwer and Dave Filoni when it comes to Maul. Like Ken and I, as we've known each other for a long time, have talked. And I've probably driven Kenna crazy with how much I love and like Maul. Like everyone else is like.
I mean, Maul's a good character, and like you know what I'm excited for the show is like we talked beforehand is like obviously he's not here anymore, but it's more of like obviously we'll get the cool action scenes of Darth Maul, but we'll actually get more of his character as well, and like he'll be talking about his brother again, Savage Opress, and everybody else around him.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's crazy is like everyone cries out for more Vader projects, but like Vader would only be action based stuff. What I love about Maul that's so great is with this, even just from the show what we're hearing, one of the people what I love about when they brought Maul back is that they gave him depth and such clear vision. And one of my favorite pieces of information that we find out in this article is that Maul doesn't view the Jedi the same way he did. Now he's gone from like, I'm sure he still has hate for Obi-Wan, but he's also kind of like, because the Empire there's no value.
Well, he also is not a fan of Palpatine either. So he's
not a fan of Palpatine. And you know, they kind of tease that in the
but like even in the show too, he was not. You could just tell that he was not a fan of Palpatine. And even in the end of season 7, he tries to warn
that's why
everyone.
He's willing to reveal that truth so much. And like Sam says here, he's gonna stick with that. He's gonna literally go, okay, yeah, I'm not your soldier anymore, and I'm not gonna let. And like I like that he's kind of like living in his own world, and like these Inquisitors are going after him. But one thing I really like about what Sam says in the interview is how Maul kind of like it gives me more clarity to what's going on in the story based on more than the trailer gave us, which is I think the reason why Maul is being targeted by these Inquisitors, like we see in the trailer, is that Palpatine has really realized that Maul in Clone Wars was a nuisance to him. Now I think Palpatine realizes Maul's now a threat. Like Maul's now something that he has to get rid of because he now is concerned. So like what Sam says about how Maul has to accept that is he better than Sidious? Like, is he becoming a better planner? Is he becoming a better, like, he has to accept that in his mind if he's going to be more ruthless. And I like how we talk about, like, with his criminal underground, what he's doing against the Empire here is literally going, yeah, I'm dangerous. And, like, if you cross me, then you're done. Like, and I love the fact that, like, this is Maul Shadowlord is everything that Boba Fett should be, and it makes me mad. Because the thing that's so sad is I
get that.
wish we would have gotten, like, I know he has to run an Enterprise, but I love that Maul's not a delegator. I love that they understand Maul in this show, that Maul is supposed to lead an Enterprise, and Maul's still like, Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. Like, he's still going to go into this building, slicing up whatever crime family has crossed him, and, like, it's all I want. It's just Maul going in, like, why couldn't we get Boba Fett, like, Scarface style, just be like, oh, you hots think you have claim on Tatooine? You don't know who you're messing with, man. I'm gonna John Wick all you fools. Like, just like disintegrate. Like why was that Disney? Explain to me why that was so hard to ask for. Why could we not get Scarface with Boba Fett? Why could we not just get, like, yep, I'm gonna whack this dude. Yep, this dude's gonna try and steal my water. Yep, these kids are messing with the wrong person. They're stealing water from my resources. I'm gonna whack them all. Just
I think,
like, come on.
yeah. Like, when it comes down to it, I think I've always said that animated Star Wars is where it's at right now, and they have really shined. Like, from Clone Wars season 7 to Tales. I know Tales of the Empire and Underworld weren't really my cup of tea, but I still respect the fact that the animation was still good. There was some type of story, but it just didn't really fit what I wanted to see.
I think the only thing with Tales that really struggled, I loved the first Tales show. I had problems with was it Tales of the Empire? I liked all the Morgan Elsbeth stuff. I really struggled with the Barriss stuff because I wanted a better story for her. And then my issue with
I didn't really care about
Underworld,
the redemption arc. She shouldn't have gone.
Yeah,
one.
that's
Just
what I'm
keep them
saying,
with
that
these villains.
I just wanted her to be an Inquisitor. I hate that they went back to her being a Jedi. I wanted to see her be an Inquisitor.
That's what I'm saying.
I wanted to see her story factor into, like, an Ahsoka season 2 or something where she, like, actually had a really good arc, and we saw that again. That would have been amazing. And then my issue that I've gone back and forth on with Underworld is I know the book exists. The book had a really good definitive end. I love Dark Disciple. I just don't like that they, as much as I know we're going to see her in live action and they're probably going to do more animated projects with her, I just really hate that Ventress had to come back in, like, how Star Wars has now a Lazarus Pit. That's not good.
That's not
I
good.
mean, like, the thing is, like, it makes sense because she's a Night Sister and, like, they're witches, so obviously they have witchy things, but it's also just like, okay, this kind of feels like a cop-out, but I guess it's just there's just some things where it's like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, because they literally definitively, if you read Dark Disciple, they gave her a good end. Like,
yeah, they did.
She had a great end. And I'm not gonna lie, it was cool to see her in Bad Batch and stuff. That was awesome. But it still was like, she got a good ending. Like, it was good. Like, it was really good. Like, her and Quinlan, like, Quinlan and Obi-Wan watched her die in a heroic way, and she said goodbye.
Yeah.
And it was a good end. I just don't know if she's alive now, other than what they did with her in Tales. What's the point of her story now?
Yeah, that's the thing about it.
We don't know where Quinlan is. We heard Quinlan was a part of Obi-Wan's old Jedi and hiding in Obi-Wan, but we've not seen Quinlan in live action yet. So, like, the only other person that she would care about to be around is Quinlan. So, like, where's Quinlan?
Unless that is what's gonna happen the next time we do, if we ever do see them in live action, is that those two will be together. So,
yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. You know, I personally...
there's still a lot of things you can do. It's not entirely impossible. They just got to be smart about it. That's all.
I would have liked to... I don't know why, because especially since they're from the same planet, I would have really liked to see Ventress and Maul would have became more allies. I think that would have been a really cool... Because we need more bad guys in Star Wars. I would like to see Ventress... I don't need Ventress to be a Sith, but I would love... They made Ventress a bounty hunter after her Jedi arc. Like, she went from Jedi to Dooku's assistant to bounty hunter. right?
Right.
And I would loved her to go back into not necessarily needing to be a Sith, but I would love her just going to maybe work with Maul. Cause like I know that she tried to have Savage like was supposed to help her take on Dooku and he couldn't do it. But I think her and Maul would really have a lot in common. Because both Dooku and Sidious cast both of them out. Imagine the kind of like intellectual like they'd have similar
And
morals.
they very much follow their own kind of code
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And I think it would have
Yeah,
been
true.
cool. Like, and maybe that could still be on the cards. Maybe she's not going to stay because she didn't. When she died, she didn't say she was a Jedi. So maybe she is still like Night Sister based, and maybe she could team.
I
team up
would
again.
prefer if they just keep her morally gray. Like she's not
Yes.
evil, but she's not a hero either, you know.
But yeah, but we're also not built. We're also not looking at Maul. Maul's not a Sith anymore, right? So like, we can't
Right.
say like Maul's gonna do bad things in Maul Shadow Lord. But it's like Sam said in the article, it's the bad guy versus the worst guys. So
Right.
and he says
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So if the Empire is the worst guys, we know what the Empire is capable of. Thanks to Andor, we know that the Empire is not above doing certain very inhumane things that is very bad. And Maul he's not bad things, but he's never escalated to that level. So like Maul's
Right.
a rage monster, and he's got great things. He's got plans and convictions, but they're both very great characters now. Like you could literally put those two together, and you could make really cool stuff because you could be like, okay, Ventress and Maul, they could do this, and like I don't know. Maybe it's a blessing that she's back. Maybe they're gonna do something really cool with her. I haven't seen it yet, but I will say this. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. As much as I love seeing Ventress in live action, we need good female Star Wars villains. So I won't object to seeing Ventress in live action, as long as they pick the right actress that can play. Because thanks to The Mandalorian, we've been getting really good live action adaptations of characters. Like
Right.
I have some criticism about Cad Bane from Book of Boba Fett, but
Yeah.
I will say that I think, and hopefully we'll see more of him once we get like more trailers or when the actual movie comes out. But I think Embo looks absolutely perfect. Like,
Yeah, he
like
looks
what
dope.
we see of him, I think he looks great. Now the question is, if we're gonna see Ventress in live action, where could you guys see her pop up?
I feel like she'll probably pop up in potentially she could pop up in Ahsoka.
Right. That's
only
what I was thinking too.
because-
Yeah.
Only because
That'd be interesting. That'd be
I think
interesting.
only because like I feel like with Ahsoka, that's at the point where like everything is kind of like over in terms
Yeah.
of like the Old Republic, whatever Empire. So that's the only time I could really see like Ventress really pop
Ahsoka
up
would
there.
be interesting because Ahsoka and her wouldn't necessarily be enemies anymore. Because Ventress is
Yeah.
not going to be leading towards she's not going to join the Empire, and she's definitely not going to be aligned with Thrawn. So, Shin versus Ventress would be a cool fight. That'd be really cool in live
Yeah.
action. I would not
Yeah, that
mind
would be
seeing
interesting.
that. That would be
Yeah.
cool. So I wonder, you guys have any idea who would be a good live action Ventress? Do you think there's an actress that would?
Honestly,
Be
I know
really
a
good.
lot of people want to have Anya Taylor-Joy, and I love her, but I really think we should have some, I don't know, some older lady to play Ventress.
I
Because
just don't think. Yeah.
Ventress is she has lived.
Yeah,
So
my-
I think we
my
need
problem with
someone who would
the-
be. Essentially, we need Ventress to be kind of like this badass grandma. Essentially,
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
agree.
when it comes to
My
these
Yeah,
problem
basically.
with the
yeah.
my problem with the Anya Taylor-Joy casting, with people wanting that so bad.
That would have been
is-
good if we were doing live action Clone Wars, but we're past that point.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, we could still. Filoni might still make live action Clone Wars at some point if he
Mhm.
chooses to. Like they've talked about that. But I think
Right.
for this idea, Ventress, she has to have a raspy voice. She has to be a
Mhm.
certain way, and I don't think that Anya Taylor-Joy can do that. Like I think she's a really
I
talented
think she
actress.
can. It's just her face. Her face
You think the
doesn't
face
look
would
like
be
Ventress.
hard? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I think
true.
she could act well as Ventress, but she just wouldn't look the part fully. Even
Yeah, that's
even with the
true.
makeup and the shaved head, I just don't think she has her nose isn't this in her shape of her eye. Her eyes are too big to play Ventress, who has more
Yeah,
of
yeah.
a
I
sharper
feel
eye shape.
sharper.
I wonder who would
So-
be. I wonder who would be an an old actress that could pull off a good Ventress. I wonder if there's someone that's out there that we haven't thought of that would be interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot you could do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, but I think
There's
back
a lot we
to
could
Maul.
do.
Like I think like when we hear about this Maul Shadow Lord stuff, I think like drawing back. I think it's really cool. Like Chris says, you know, animated Star Wars so far, except for a couple missed things in how people feel about Underworld and how people feel about even Tales of the Empire. I think really animation hasn't really missed because even though some people refused to watch Resistance, a lot of people had Rebels and Clone Wars. They've mostly kept a good record. People like those two animated stuff. And that's what Filoni's known most for. And now Filoni has added the best card he can get to his table, which is he's got a lot of people have complete faith in this Maul show because Sam is so involved with it. And nobody knows Maul at this point more than Sam. So I think, and Maul knows Star Wars and Sam knows Star Wars in general, but Sam has really just been crying out for something with Maul of this magnitude. And,
yeah, definitely. He's been saying for the longest now.
You know, I'll be honest. I really hope, and I know this hasn't been revealed because it might be a limited series. I really hope, because of the timeline that we're in right now at this Maul show, I really hope this isn't a season one and done show. I really hope this
I
show
honestly don't
does
think
good.
it will be. I think that we'll definitely get like at least
They
maybe
should
3
expand
seasons.
multiple
see 3
seasons.
seasons.
I think a continuous season watch for this kind of show would be amazing. Because I think there's so many good stories you can tell with this character, and we have a lot of time to tell them where we don't contradict what happens to him in Rebels. Like, I think you could easily tell like a 5-season, 6-season show about this time and still not mess with what happens in Rebels.
Yeah, if it is one and done, I do feel like it just has to have a very good ending for like.
Yeah, I mean, if it has a good ending, if it's one and done, it's a really good story through, I'll accept it. But I don't know. I don't know. I kind of think like the more Maul, the better at this point. And if this is the timeline to
I feel like he's the character that hasn't really been messed up completely. I don't think he's been messed up at all, really and truly. That's the thing I think about.
They gave it to
we've had too many that's been messed up.
And you gave it to people that I think they realize that they can't mess up. So I feel with this thing, like I know we haven't seen reviews, or we haven't seen like we've only had the one trailer, and we're just getting this interview with stuff. But to me, this interview gives me the belief that I think this show's going to be good, because I just think I like hearing that Filoni cares about the actual creative side of things. Like the fact that he's literally saying in this interview, a mandate for this show is it's got to have better acting, it's got to have better cinematography, it's got to have great scripts. I never thought that Filoni cared about that stuff, because everyone's tried to tank Filoni's name into the ground because of everything that's happened with the Acolyte and like all the other projects. Like, people have liked to throw his name in the mud, and the fact that he is capable of understanding this character and understanding the importance of this character, thriving for Star Wars television, going, okay, yeah, we need better acting, we need better this. Like, I think that is good that he's being critical of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Because hopefully that means across the board, this is a taste of him as president, going across the board with everything. Like, if we have to accept a Rey movie exists, maybe he's literally like, okay, I can't stop the Rey movie.
Good? What if the Rey movie's shockingly good?
What if it turns out
like,
to be
like I can't stop the Rey movie from happening, but I can make it better, and maybe that's the goal. Maybe it's okay. Let's not erase all the projects that Kathleen wants to do. Maybe let's fix them up a little bit, do the best we can.
Yeah, I think Star Wars are going the right way. Starting with Maul, and then they can kind of like rebuild some of the stuff that they've done, or at least just continue.
And if Maul's amazing, if Maul's amazing to great, I can sit by Mando and Grogu just kind of being like a fun adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really annoys me though? It's kind of crazy on like the product side of promotional stuff. I was watching this video the other day about the toy line they're making for Black Series this year.
Right.
And it's really upsetting that they're putting all the promotional, and it's not surprising considering they want to sell toys to kids and stuff, but like I'm seeing so much like random Stormtrooper variants for like Mando and Grogu stuff getting ready for toys and stuff, right? With the different characters. We have
Mhm.
more details on Sigourney Weaver. I actually didn't know that Sigourney Weaver was going to be a New Republic pilot. So because you see her in this
Oh.
trailer, I found that she's a pilot. Her figure looks different than she does in the trailer. Her figure is actually in a classic orange jumpsuit, like being a pilot.
Hmm.
So she might have an X-wing in the movie.
Right. That's what I was gonna
Um,
say. It's probably something that happens later in the movie.
Yeah, which is possible.
Mm.
Which I thought was interesting. Apparently she's a lieutenant of some sort, which is interesting. But the thing I think is really interesting about that is like, I would have thought when you announced a Black Sea Wave that they would be putting a lot of effort into selling mall stuff, because that's gonna come out
Well,
before.
I mean, yes, but I think you have to realize that Mando and Grogu is their big comeback for
That's
theatrical
their
Yeah,
big
it is
thing.
a
release,
big
Like
while
release.
Maul
everybody,
is a Disney
I think,
Plus show.
yeah, because at this point, like Mando and Grogu is just like that's
And
the only. I
also,
feel like
Mando
that's
comes
the
out
only thing.
first before Maul, so
Yeah, and that's the
we'll
only thing
definitely
that
get Maul
really does.
merch. We'll definitely get Maul
Yeah,
merch, no doubt about that. But like Mando comes first before Maul, realistically.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
just
with
because they
Mando
want
and
to
Grogu, it's just
hype
like
out the movie, even though Maul comes out, they just want to hype up the movie. I did see that Star Wars Theory's website, his top branded item right now is he sold out. He remade Maul's saber from Clone Wars that Maul has in Shadow Lord, and
yeah,
it's sold out right now. I was thinking about buying it, and I'm waiting for it to
yeah,
come back in stock because it literally is like crazy.
I mean,
Like,
there's no doubt the Maul show has hype, no doubt. Probably
yeah.
more,
yeah,
actually,
100%.
arguably more hype than the Mando movie, which is fair, to be
What kind of
honest.
merch would
Yeah.
you like to see? Like, if you really like Maul Shadow Lord, what kind of merch are you guys hoping to see?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't get any
Um,
merch, but maybe a cool T-shirt or a
I
hoodie.
heard they were making.
yeah, a
Funko
couple
Pops. I've seen some of the
teas.
Funko Pops, which is pretty cool. So I think that's cool. But I definitely hope they're making new figures. They should make some new
A couple
Inquisitors.
ships or something. So yeah,
Ships would be cool. Yeah, I wonder how many ships we'll see in the show. I didn't know how many ships we'll see. I was assuming it's going to be a lot of ground combat, but we might see some ships still.
yeah.
There's some new
All
Star
right.
Destroyers.
Oh, you
Yeah,
Star
that's pretty good.
Destroyers?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The last topic is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale. There will be spoilers, but first, what is everyone's overall take of the finale, just in general? I thought it was
Oh,
pretty good. I thought I
Mm.
liked it. It wasn't bad. I know that it wasn't as grandiose as some people expected it to be, but I thought, you know what? It was decent. It was good. I didn't
Yeah.
hate it. Yeah.
I like it overall. I just personally, when I think of these Game of Thrones show, and maybe I'm crazy because of the amount of money that they put into these shows, I really just wanted a grandiose ending because I was so bitterly disappointed by episode 5. And
Yeah.
I was hoping, and I didn't need another big battle or anything, but I was just hoping that someone was gonna do something that was gonna like move the needle. You know,
Yeah.
something crazy was gonna happen, and it did. But overall, I really do like the finale. I think it's a good finale. I think it sets up a strong season 2. I think there's one thing that gets me very interested for the rest of this series that is really interesting that we can talk about when we get to more of the spoilers section. Where there's something between two characters in this show that they started out being really big allies, and now I think they could be potentially enemies in the future, which is really interesting because they set up in the show that we had this great, most of the episodes I enjoyed, you had this great bond between the guy in the yellow armor and Dunk, right? The guy that was always joking around with the antlers. Well, I've been looking into some stuff from the book and stuff, and there is apparently some artwork of Dunk in white armor fighting for a different army, and there is the yellow armor represented again with the antlers. And he says to Dunk in this episode, "Go with me, love me as my brother, or hate me later," something along those lines, right? Like, I can't remember the line. He says something when they're talking by the tree of something like love me as my brother, go with me, whatever, and then or hate me, brother, something like that.
Hmm.
And I think
I
it was
will
just
say I had a hard time paying attention to the episode. I was a little distracted. I will say the finale is good, but it's definitely one of those episodes where like you really need to focus to finally pick up some
yeah,
clues. And also there's a lot of Easter eggs, but only really for if you're like a super fan of Game of Thrones or like you're really into it. And this is my first really Game of Thrones content I've consumed. So there's definitely
Yeah.
some things that I had to like, I watched a video explaining it all and having like, okay, so that makes sense. They're setting up this and
yeah.
this and this. Um, I again, I think it's nice that we're getting a season two. Because at first it was a limited show. So we thought episode 6 was going to be the end of it all, but no, there's going to be more, which I think is good. Um, and yeah, I think season 2 will be better than season 1, honestly, or it should be. That's really my
I
overall
think it
thought.
will. I think it
Mm,
will because I think season 2 will be more the show we wanted season 1 to be. Like,
right.
I think season 1 we were really trying to build this like sort of world, and I think like obviously I know Luke said that he just said with the episode 5 disappointment that he
Mm,
thinks that this night show is not going to be that typical kind of Knights Game of Thrones like epic type of action show. I do think that season 2 is going to have action. I I have to believe that if you're doing a Knights show, that we're going to see some sort of proper clashes without flashbacks in a
Yeah.
second season. It might not be like Battle of the Bastards grandiose like people wanted for episode 5, but one of the things I wanted for the finale was just a small little conflict, right? Like what I was really
Well, there
hoping for this
is though.
finale.
I would make the argument that, this wasn't actually in the book I learned, but like that scene where Aegon was gonna kill his brother in his sleep before
Right.
his father
No, I know
catches
that. I'm
him.
just talking about like I wanted something like you know how we saw the guy that that yielded in the last episode that had the whole feud against Dunk, right? I thought he was gonna send someone after Dunk this episode because he was such a petty person, right? So like when he
Yeah.
yielded, I thought because the Targaryens, you wouldn't know this kind of because you haven't seen all the Game of Thrones videos, but the Targaryens are a very petty family. So like
Yeah.
they'll say some, they'll say something like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
I've heard.
yield,
I've seen some things,
I,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
yield," but they don't give up easily. So I thought he was gonna have like one little trick up his sleeve and like kind of try and take Dunk out almost like a hit, like an assassination
Yeah.
attempt type scenario.
Yeah.
Because I really
So I
wanted to
think
see like something happen like that. But overall, I really I do agree with you. Like the stuff with Egg, that definitely is significant, and I think that was a really big scene, and I like how it played out. So
yeah, I think yeah, I think the finale was actually good. I liked it more than the last episode before that because I just felt like
yeah,
didn't hate it. I was just like I wanted to see the action. I wanted to
I
see
think we just
Dunk
were
and
all bitter
the
over not getting the episode that we were promised that we were
yeah,
gonna get.
basically
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
But I'm cool with it. Like we still
yeah,
saw something, and it wasn't like it was completely left
right.
undone or whatever. I just felt like a
What did you
backstory like
think?
for Dunk just needed to be
What did you
somewhere
think
else.
about what did you guys think about the how in the beginning of the episode he meets with the Targaryen brother that killed his brother, right?
Yeah,
And he goes from yeah, no, I'm not interested in training. I'm done with princes, right? To like
yeah.
literally by the end of it going, yeah, I'm taking Egg, like as my squire, like
Yeah, I think because obviously they've grown that type of relationship in it, and I think like the thing is as well, Egg does I can't see Egg with anybody else being a squire. So it's one
right,
of those things that's just like Egg's kind of like gained that relationship with him, that trust, and obviously Dunk is just like the thing is with Egg makes him feel like somebody, whereas
yep, yep,
everybody else that's there,
Well,
they don't really make him feel like he should be a knight. He's this that he's just cool
right.
and
yeah,
dumb and
They have that
stupid.
supportive
Like it's
group
not that.
or
Yeah,
friendship.
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
So I think with that, it
Another thing
helps.
too is like the reason why Dunk changed his mind is really essentially Maker, the dad, he was like he has 3 sons and they all suck. They have that evil one,
Yeah.
One is a drunk, one is out far away somewhere, and then Aang is his last son. Not only because Aang is the youngest, but literally he's the last one who can be molded into someone who can be better. And he
Yep.
sees Dunk
Yeah.
as a positive influence to have
Mhm.
on Aang. And that's why that's why we eventually get Dunk and Aang together, because Dunk
Yeah.
realizes that he can mold Aang to be better. And also Aang has, in general, has a good heart in him. Because I mean, he is a little boy, but like, he's not malicious. And he
Yeah.
also wants to
Yeah,
escape. Like, his whole thing is like that. The reason why he cut off his hair, is like he doesn't want to be associated with his family.
Mm.
Like, did
So
you
that's
see
why he goes with Dunk as well.
what? Like, did you guys also see there was a little end credit scene at the end of the thing where
Yeah.
it showed that them realizing that Egg wasn't with
Yes.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
did see
yeah.
that. Yes.
It was hilarious. He's like,
No, so good.
where the fuck is
Where the fuck is he?
He's like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what I mean? That's the thing. I feel like with Dunk, it's like for some reason, Dunk's gonna show Egg more of the reality of the Seven Kingdoms, whereas being in the castle all the time, that's gonna shelter him. He's gonna not know. He's only gonna know what to do within the castle. When he steps outside of that, what is he really gonna do? So I think him being with Dunk is just kind of see you're gonna travel, you're gonna see there, you're gonna see what it's like to be here and here, what Knights actually do, some Knights actually do, because that's what Knights do, they travel. And obviously it's
Yep.
not, so he's gonna see the real. So when he gets older, it's gonna be more of him, he's more natural, becoming to seeing
yeah.
problems. That's what kings
also-
are about. But I feel like some kings, they're so old and stuck in their ways, like his dad, he's very stuck in his ways. And it's like
Yeah.
you don't even see you're blocking your son from becoming a better king, at least. Like you know what I mean?
I also read I read an article that said that when they tease about how Egg has to explain to Dunk about the kingdoms, I heard the show might get a title change moving forward. I heard
Oh,
that
really?
Well, isn't it called now the Night of the Nine Kingdoms?
I think
instead
so.
of-
They
at
they
the- that- 'cause
joked
that-
about
that's
it.
what they showed in the end.
Yeah, so I think that is
Yeah.
true as long as they keep that. Because Egg made a big deal to Dunk about it, and I thought that was hilarious that he was literally like, yeah, no, it's 9 kingdoms and like 9 realms, like, and also
Yeah, I think
so
when
the-
season 2 comes out, that will be the new name.
because they said because they said with because they said when you think like where things go from here for season 2 stories, they said that that basically the first season was based on the book The Hedge Knight, which was very adamant and accurate to the show, but then the second book is going to be based off The Sworn Sword.
Yes.
And I think I now understand after watching all of season 1, I think I now understand kind of like, I don't have the whole picture yet, but I think I now understand why the book The Sworn Sword, what kind of that is going to be about for season 2. Because when I think Sworn Sword, that could mean 2 things. It could either be a metaphor for, hey, Egg is officially Dunk's squire, and that's now, kind of like, hey, a loyalty thing. But it could also be a thing that in the end of season 2, maybe Dunk finally gets to join a proper army, and he swore his sword to a king or some kingdom. So there's going to be 9 kingdoms. They could do something like that. I was just thinking about that recently.
Well, again, I'm only watching the show. I don't really know much.
Yeah, so I need to start reading some of the books actually. To be fair,
right.
See a bit
To be
more.
like, what is?
I want
what
to
are
see,
you talking
yeah,
about?
because I want to see a
Might
bit more
you-
like what's the details missed and stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
did you guys hear? So obviously episode 5 that got review bombed because that a lot of people loved that episode. They thought that episode was a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
The Breaking Bad the toxic fans of Breaking Bad, they went to obviously Dance to Percent Kingdom and said, nah, that episode is not going to be a 10 out of 10. Only Ozymandias, which is like one of the best episodes in Breaking Bad for 100%. Like honestly, probably the best episode in that whole show. But they kind of just review bombed and just started review bombing the show because it can't be a 10 out of 10. Only one show can have a 10 out of 10 episode. And I'm just thinking like it's not that deep. Like however people feel about this episode is however people feel. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 for episode 5, but I thought it was at least it was good. It was just wasn't what I expected. More, I
I think
wanted
the
more from
issue with
it, you know?
episode 5 was like just how it was placed, like
Mm.
the flashback was important, but because it
Yeah,
was just like right in the beginning of where we thought was gonna, be the fight, I think it was just like it was just awkward in a way. It was awkwardly placed, and that's why I think you build up the momentum and then you just cut it out, and then that's where I think a lot of people lost it, where it's like the
yeah,
momentum isn't there anymore. But
100.
yeah, no, I still liked episode 5. It just was like wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but
Mm.
yeah. Um, I think it was overall. I think the show overall, even though it's not perfect, obviously, I think it's a good show, and I think it's a good comeback for the Game of Thrones franchise, especially since what is it, season 3 coming out for House of Dragon is coming out soon. I remember they played something beforehand, so they're all connecting it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I think overall it's just a good show. Does anyone else have any last comments about the finale or the future of Game of Thrones? I mean, I know we already talked
I'm
about it,
just
but
I know we talked about in one of the episodes that the guy that did Primal and that did and that did OG Clone Wars.
right, he was gonna
Mm.
do a Game of Thrones
He's gonna do
for
something
sure.
anime for Game of Thrones, and I'm
Okay.
interested to see what that comes from because we haven't had any animated Game of Thrones. I think that's gonna be really cool. I really do think, and I know this is crazy because I know it'd be hard to put these two franchises together because they're very different.
Yeah.
If Game of Thrones plays their cards right, if we get a good season 3 for House of Dragon, which I still need to catch up on House of the Dragon, which I'm going to be working on now. Now that
Right,
I'm
yeah.
finished, my next goal is by the
Same.
next time that we talk on the podcast, I'm going to have a review for House of the Dragon season 1 and 2 out because I stopped watching it. So I'm going to try on the next episode to give you guys my thoughts on House of the Dragon because I haven't really
Okay.
seen enough to have an opinion of it. Because I started watching it and then I stopped, so I need to get back on that soon. So, but that's my next goal. I saw they put out a trailer for season 3. I haven't watched it yet because I'm gonna watch the first 2 seasons first and then go
Right,
watch.
and then be ready for season 3.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
but I think if they get all these stuff right, like I've heard season 2 isn't very good of House of the Dragon. So hopefully, if season 3 is really good, and the Night of the Seventh Kingdom, I think is a much big step up from what season 8 was for Game of Thrones. I think if we get more good seasons for Night of the Seventh Kingdom, a good season 3 is really good for House of the Dragon. Maybe we get other really good spin-offs like this anime one and maybe other ones in the future. I think this could be the next fantasy thing, not as good, obviously, because it's got such deep lore, but this could be the next Lord of the Rings as the sense of exploring another realm or realms and exploring like that knight wizard adventure sort of tale in fantasy. Like it will never be as good as Lord of the Rings because Lord of the Rings is so deep and it has such a linear storytelling. But I think it could be the next thing because it does seem
Well,
like
overall, it seems to be just the comeback for Game of Thrones as a
and it's
whole.
nice to see Game of Thrones as its own IP, coming back with such great new people are still invested in Game of Thrones. And you would think after season 8 that you wouldn't have people invested, but I guess House of the Dragon was enough to put people interested again. And
Well,
then
I guess
they didn't love season 2. And
I guess Game of Thrones is doing something that Star Wars should have done a while ago. Is that they're going way, way back. So
Right.
they have a lot of stories to tell, and there's already the books out already for them for the way back stories. So it's like,
and this is
might as well
definitely paying
tell
off for them.
those.
Like if they got the right people and they actually went back to Old Republic for Star Wars, maybe we would have got something significant and it would have actually been good because if you get the right people involved, because it seems like with Game of Thrones, going back is helping them because they did their sequel, they did their forward story. They started with just Game of Thrones and they had some really good seasons, and then they fumbled so badly. Because it'd be one thing if just the finale was bad in season 8, but if you ever truly choose to catch up on Game of Thrones one day, Kenna, all of season 8 is bad, not just one episode. Like,
well, I've heard some mixed things, but yeah, I'll see it for myself eventually one of these days.
The whole of it is bad. Like, there's two things that make. There's two choices they make that make it bad.
Started off okay, Like they got to the middle, I thought, okay, cool. But then, yeah, the last 2-3 episodes, I think it's the last 2 episodes really did it
It's
for me,
okay.
so,
I've had my fair
you know.
share of bad season 8 shows, so
Yeah, so, you know. But hey, to each their own, bro.
But Kenna, Voltron was amazing. What are you talking about?
No, I can't hear you.
I
Okay.
like to tease Kenna because she loves Voltron
Well,
Legendary
it was what I
Defenders.
was referencing when I meant some bad season 8 shows. So, yeah, no. Yeah, I would say that concludes our show. Night of the
Yeah.
Seven Kingdoms was good, and this was a good podcast.
Yep. Luke was
Again,
a
check out
no-show.
Luke was on the island pumping some green milk on whatever those alien creatures were, and that's okay. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching the show. Check out Chris the Fourth on YouTube, and of course Captain Multiverse as well. Have any of you guys seen The Long Walk? No, we have not. I have not seen The Long Walk. That will be the next movie that I've seen, but that will be for another topic for another episode of Legion of Creators,
Yeah.
maybe possibly on episode 52. Again, thanks for everyone for coming by. This is the end. Have a good day.
Yep.
That's a game, boy.